Thursday night motorsport on the platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. Nice to have you along for the ride wherever you're tuning in all around Australia or indeed the world across Facebook, Twitch and also YouTube. This is week 8. It's night 4 of week 8 of term 3. It is the last night of winter, allegedly. Some parts of the country are already into spring, well and truly. Don't worry about that. And of course it is our last night of August. It is great to have you along for the ride. As you can see there from the aerial shots, we are getting tonight underway on home turf from the Sandown International Raceway in Sandown, Melbourne, Victoria. And we are looking forward to TCR for the second and only time, or second and final time, I should say, in the production car series for this season. 2 races, the format, or the equation, or the order of play, or whatever you want to call it. 2 races here. The first one will be 15 minutes. The second one will be 25. And if it's anything like the action we've seen in the first few rounds already of the production car series, it'll be well worth the price of admission. It hasn't always been quantity this season. It has always been quality, however, and we're expecting more of the same tonight. I'm Zach Caban. Daniel Correa is here alongside me. There are the track and weather conditions for you. 3.13 kilometres this circuit, 9:17 a.m. in the morning, local time there, and they're kidding themselves that they think it's 23 degrees at the end of August in Victoria. The iRacing server having a tremendous pull of it at the start of Thursday night motorsport, and 25 degrees on track. It is a field of 17 that'll greet the starter here in just a few moments' time. And I say with a little bit of trepidation that on the back end of this, ladies and gentlemen, we're heading over to Asia. We're heading to Suzuka for some Porsche Cup racing. Just not sure what we've got in store there in terms of how many bums on seats there'll be. Daniel, welcome to you. Nice showing from you on Monday night in the GT3s. Now we get to spend the next few hours together talking about our favourite night of the week. One make Thursday, our TCR's first up into, of course, the Porsches. And TCR at Sandown, it sounds like a good combo. Let's hope that with the smaller field, it lives up to the hype.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very excited to see some TCR action, especially on a homegrown track. I think the Sandown layout will provide a good battleground for these guys. Again, yeah, 17 cars. Would be nice if there was more, but we deal with what we've got, as I believe they're getting ready to hit the grid. So I'll bring that information for everyone.
Now, Thursday night football tonight is round 27 of the NRL. It is Brisbane and Melbourne. I'll keep you across that as the night unfolds, because if Brisbane win, they've got the minor premiership. If Melbourne win, then Brisbane need to rely on the Cowboys beating Penrith to win the minor premiership. But whatever the case, the Broncos will play a home qualifying final in week 1 next weekend. I was originally going to go to that game, but opted not to, because I'm taking way too many nights off GSRC broadcast in the next short while due to real-world commitments, so I opted against some leisure tonight. And also, it's a reserve grade game, essentially, a second string 11 being, or 13 being fielded by both teams by the sounds of it. Brendan and Chris Withick at the front row, Adam Lavis, Nick Wood the second row, Tyson Hanma and Sam Chapman the third row, Dale Sharp, Anthony Outside the fourth row, Tony Baker and Matt Schmidt the fifth. We go back to Kurt Chapman, Grant Gill, Paul Nichols, Robert McGrath, Phil King, Michael Ladder and Joe Baldwin making up the field. There they are, ready to rock and roll at Sandown. It's a small field, but it's a great racetrack. It's a racetrack that will dish up some terrific competition tonight. The slipstreaming drag racing that we'll see along the front and the back straight should hopefully keep this field nice and bunched up. Getting ready for a start, ready to rock and roll. Thursday night motorsport on the platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. Let's go from Sandown in Victoria. Everybody getting off the line cleanly, which is more than we could say for this time last week as they stretch towards turn 1. Brendan Whitaker's going to lead the field through. Nicely done. Sam Chapman, a good start. Nick Wood's got the better of Adam Lavis off the line. And we're all safely through the first few corners. Look at the Honda decked out in the traditional yellow, red and white there further back. There's a tribute to Tony Longhurst and the Benson and Hedges days of Super Touring. In there as well, the BMW. Down the back straight, some good liveries on show tonight. Drag race, line astern. It's a freight train down the back straight to Dandenong Road. But so far, it's clean. Round they come. Biggest mover on the opening lap. Joe Baldwin up 3 spots. Paul Nichols down 4 at the other end of the ledger, and Dale Sharp down 3 as well. Grant Gill and Robert McGrath up 1 apiece. Now Schmidtke up 2. Anthony Adshead and Nick Wood are also up 1 apiece. So at the moment, we're good.
That's been an excellent lap 1. Nice and clean, as you said, Zach. See Chapman and Gill just trading places for a bit there going into turn 2. And you're right. There's some excellent liveries on show. Oh, someone goes wide. That's one of the Hyundais in the back.
Bang into the wall. That was Phil King, I'm pretty sure. No. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Phil King indeed. Getting left behind. Michael Ladder's gone past him. Paul Nichols out of business. Now, Nico, I believe, has had a packet loss issue because he's showing up on the monitors here as having completed 0.75 of a lap, so 3/4 of a lap to this point of the track. It has gone no further. Now, normally, if he's been towed to pit lane or he's jumped out of a server, he'd be doing so from pit lane. But I think when it's 0.75 of a lap and you're parked up on the racetrack, I think that screams packet loss. Down the main straight we go, 2 gone. Whittaker leads Whittaker. Wood, Lavis, Hanna. Hanma with the fastest lap of the race, 1:16.484. Tyson's on a charge here. New name for us, actually, on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. We're right on board with Matt Schmidtke. 8th place now, following Anthony Adshead through. Phil King's come to pit lane. Got his splash and dash. Not his splash and dash, his fast repair done on. Yep. Confirmation from the man himself, Paul Nichols, that it was packet loss. That it was indeed an internet network dropout. Oh, bad luck, Nico. Down the back straight we go. So,
whoa, hard on the brake.
Big sand, big sand, big sand. Can he pull it up? No. Hanma having a big look and a big dive there on Adam Lavis, but he couldn't pull it up. And Lavis holds on for now to 4th place. Down the inside, Schmidtke. Schmidtke trying to get by. Actually, no, it's Schmidtke being passed, rather.
No, he's going into the pits.
And Schmidtke going into pit lane. So Chapman and Adshead and Baker go on by. So too Sharp, Gill and Chapman. Down the main straight we go. Baker back to 8th place. Schmidtke in pit lane. Now, this is interesting because Phil King was in there for a fast repair. The fast repairs will crucify you around here in this sprint race because any trip, and this is unfortunately what Matt Schmidtke's finding out, any trip to pit lane in this opening race gives you an automatic invoice to pay because pit stops are only part of the equation in the second race. Back straight, Joe Baldwin. Let's ride on board with him now. Following Robert McGrath. And what you'll see here is we've got a couple of Audis like Joe, like Michael Ladder, Matt Schmidtke, Robert McGrath. We've got a couple of Hondas in Chris Whittaker, Sam Chapman, Anthony Adshead, and Paul Nichols, but the rest are Hyundais. 3 different manufacturers in TCR, as opposed to so this is the only time in which One Make Thursday is not One Make Thursday, because the TCRs do have different manufacturer choices and options, and in fact there's 2 different Hyundais to choose from. But with the rest of the Thursday night options or selections for the production car rounds throughout the course of this term, they are one make formulas. So you've got the Mazda MX-5, you've got the Mustang, you've got the Aston Martin in there as well.
Oh, there's been an off in the back there with the Audi.
So Robert McGrath's had a moment. Drops down to 13th. He's Grant Gill. All over the back. Uh-oh, Sam Chapman. Uh-oh. What's happened to Chapo? Has he had a packet loss as well? Chapman's dropped down to 14th place. Sam Chapman's out of business on a Thursday night. Packet loss biting hard here in the early stages at Sandown. 8 minutes and 39 seconds still to go. So it's a little bit lackluster at the moment, but not without shortcomings for the likes of Nichols and Chapman. Nico's got back out there, but he's 3 laps or 2.5 laps down. Chapman nowhere to be seen at the moment. Robert McGrath coming into pit lane. So there's, yeah, wow. There's all sorts of stuff going on out there at the moment. At the front, Brendan's holding Chris at bay. Nick Wood, Adam Lavis and Tyson Hanmer are the next chasing pack. And Hanmer has lowered the benchmark to 1:15.890. Adhead, Baker, Gill, Sharp, Chapman.
Oh, that's heavy!
10. And the two brothers have come together at the end of Dandenong Road. Chris Whittaker has given Brendan a real touch-up. And in doing that, and then getting out of the accelerator, getting out of the throttle to try and correct the issue, and getting Brendan to pull up and getting, and giving him a little bit of room to get back going so that there's no need to redress. It's opened the floodgates because it's invited Wood, Lavis and Hanmer back into the fight, and here's Hanmer up the outside of Lavis now to turn 1. Hanmer trying to get by Lavis, can't get it done. Oh boy. All happening in the early stages in Melbourne.
Yeah, it looked like from Chris's point of view, he might have just missed the brake mark a little bit. You could see him get heavy on the brakes, lock up. Obviously didn't try and execute the move. He saw that he hit his brother a little bit, got squirrely and let him continue on. But luckily to avoid a spin there, just a small tap, and each person carry on their way.
So still a 5-car freight train now at the top end of town. As they continue along to conclude or complete the end of lap 7. That will be the 9-minute mark of this race as they come back to the line. So 6 minutes to go. And by my calculations, we're going to be flirting very closely with the concept of, well, 4 laps gives you 5 minutes, so 5 laps, I think, from here. So I think we'll get to 12. Looking at the clock, 1 minute 16.
Oh, deep on the brakes here from Tony. Oh, and he's done it.
Very nicely done from Tony Baker. Squeezing down on the inside of Anthony Adhead. So just having a look at it. Yeah, 1 minute 15.
Oh, no.
Roughly. Oh, Baker's brought himself undone. He was wide through turn 3. Tried to ride the ripple strip, and the ripple strip has thrown him out and hung him out to dry. And unfortunately, the rejoin wasn't any good either.
Oh, no. That's
all gone belly up for Tony Baker. The first real incident we've seen tonight. Now, yeah, 1 minute 15 a lap gets you 4 laps every 5 minutes, gets you 12 laps. So we're on the right trajectory for that. We will do a little smidgen bit of overtime there. But yes, 4 laps to go when they cross the line. And here they come. Now it's a race in 3. Lavis and Hanmer have been left behind. Baker and McGrath showing us off track at the moment. Baker off the track again. That's at the end of the back straight. No rear end. He's on the tow rope to pit lane. Nick Wood is giving Chris Whittaker a big hurry up here.
Seems as though Chris has lost a bit of time to Brendan ahead. sure if he's just backing off to prevent what happened a couple of laps earlier, or just got the legs. Nah, seems to have come back. Just a temporary blip there. Oh, but he does go wide on the exit.
Already. Oh, Whittaker nearly threw it down the road. Did well to gather it up. But he's now really under the pump from Nick Wood. Can't afford to cough here. Tony Baker still on pit road, has been for a few seconds now, about a minute actually. So Tony Baker out of business as far as this race is concerned. Will not get classified either. He needs to complete another lap to be classified at the 75% race distance. Brendan Whittaker leads Chris Whittaker and Nick Wood. That's a race in 3. Ads heads under the pump in the battle for 6th from Gill, Sharp and Chapman, and that's about it as far as the battles on the track are concerned. Over the rise and down. They ride the ripple strips through 2 and 3 and then exit the 4th corner onto the back straight. There's the kink at 5. We're right on board with Chris Whittaker. Chasing Brendan. Not sure if team orders are at play here or not.
Oh, hear the VTEC kicking in right at the end there.
Whittaker's a 2x TCR champion and a 1-time production car champion as well.
So he's got experience under the belt in these cars.
Very well credentialed in the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Doesn't necessarily try his hand at the likes of GT3 anymore, or the Porsches, or some of our other hotly contested championships, because real world commitments combined with family and other factors. He doesn't have as much time in the sim as he did back in the COVID days. But when he's here, it's always a combination of competitive and entertaining, as is evidenced by some of the post-race shows we've had in the past with him as well.
The battles are really starting to heat up now. We're coming out. They were dwindling to the end of the race. And you can see we've got these front 3 here. Then there's another 4, down there from Ads Head to Chapman and P9. And then a couple of battles forming at the back of the pack with Robert McGrath trying to get the best of King. He might just do it here coming down to the first corner.
Now, what's going to be really interesting here is McGrath and King go side by side to 1, and King goes, McGrath goes through, got him, and then King back up the outside to turn 2. No, not going to get it done. What's going to be interesting here is the invert of the field, the invert of the top 10 for the next race. Trucker Joe is currently sitting 10th. So Trucker's going to be in a position to lead the field to turn 1 when we get this next race underway. Clock about to expire. Last lap board in the air. We're on the way home, on the run to the checkered flag.
Brendan is doing an incredible job staying ahead here. But you may have brought up team orders before, but based on the way that Chris was running through turns 1 and 3, I don't think that's the case. I think he's giving everything to try and get past this bloke.
Through they go. They've gapped Nick Wood, so it's now a race in 2. Wood will consolidate and bring it home on the final step of the podium.
Wood's gone off.
Actually, no, he won't. He's thrown it away, Dandenong Road. Nick Wood has thrown away a podium finish 4 corners from the line. Can you believe that? Brendan Whittaker gets the job done. Chris Whittaker 2nd. Team Whittaker 1, 2. How many times have we said that on a Thursday night throughout the course of the last 2 seasons? Well done. Nick Wood comes home in 5th, what could have been 3rd. Adam Lavis onto the podium. And there'll be a few people delighted about that, not least him, of course, the GSRC Life member on the podium. Very nicely done. Tyson Hammer is 4th. Nick Wood, Anthony Adshead, Grant Gill, Dale Sharp, Kurt Chapman and Joe Baldwin made up the top 10. Baldwin will get the invert. 11th to Michael Latta, 12th to Matt Schmidtke. That's a case of what might have been. Anyone that ended up in pit lane there for, an extended period of time, really suffered as a result of that on the leaderboard. Nick Wood, he got the curb. He got the curb. Therefore, had trouble pulling it up. Ran it too deep. There goes Adam Lavis. There goes Tyson Hanmer. Thanks for coming. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Joe Baldwin, welcome into you. Good evening. Nice to have you on board from the other side of the country. Can't wait to get over there in 8 weeks. Well done on moving up the field, mate, into 10th place, and now you get to lead the field to green.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I just realised it was a top 10 invert, so we're not too keen on that with the grocery getter, but we'll do the best we can do.
As long as you get it off the line without stalling it, Joe, you'll be right.
Yeah, I actually had a start in the last one. I don't know. I just jagged it. I think it's the right revs and just squeezed the throttle, and I think I picked spots one. But there's going to be an angry pack behind me. I know those. According to race control, it's the Wicketers, but I know it's the Whittaker brothers and Mr. Maverick in the back there. I know them guys are going to be coming through hot, and it looks like Grant Gill's having a pretty good night as well. Chapman. So, yeah, there's a bunch of fast guys in there. These aren't their car ride drivers, but I thought, why not? May as well get in and have a bit of fun.
Absolutely, mate. And fun is the name of the day, and it's a nice warm-up for Porsches around Suzuka.
Oh, I'm so excited about Porsche at Suzuka. To the point, I've even watched a couple of tutorials. I don't know if it'll help me, but it can't hurt. So, hopefully just a clean run's all I want to hear. And
it's nice that someone's excited about it, Joe.
You obviously missed the sarcasm.
It was noted well and truly. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So,
we're feeling the same way.
Realistically, though, Suzuka's actually a fantastic track. It's, I feel, though, it's a lot more high downforce cars. Like it's a track that lends itself really well to F3, F4, more your Formula style cars and stuff like that. I know the Skippies actually race really, really well around there, but in sedans, never been my favourite place. So, but it's all right. It's the same rules for everybody, so I'm sure it'll be good fun.
All right, mate. Cars are lining up on the grid. Go and get amongst it. Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
There he is, Trucker Joe Baldwin. And looking forward to catching up with him in about 8 weeks' time when I'm over west for the Hyundai XL Nationals. That's only been confirmed this week. If you're just joining us on the platforms of the GSRC, we mentioned it Monday night. It is now public knowledge. It's not been without some drama, but yes, looking forward to it immensely. Joe Baldwin and Kurt Chapman, the front row, Dale Sharp, Grant Gill, the second row, Anthony Adshead, Nick Wood, the third row, Tyson Hanmer, and Adam Lavis from row 4, Chris Whittaker and Brendan Whittaker from 5. 6 is where you'll find Michael Ladder and Matt Schmidtke. 7, Robert McGrath, Phil King. 8, Tony Baker, Sam Chapman, and 9, Paul Nichols. We're ready to rock and roll. Thursday night motorsport on the platforms. The Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Race 2 or 3 for the program. Race 2 of round 8 for the production cars from Sandown. Jumbled up start there. A few a bit cleaner off the line than others. Joe Baldwin's going to hold the line and hold sway and lead the field to turn 1. There's trouble brewing, but they got away with it. Nick Wood getting through into 7th place, and unfortunately Dale Sharp just got completely swamped. They make their way through turn 3 and 4. And then down onto the back straight. Clean as they go. Nick Wood, side by side. Sharp's there, Lavis too. Now it's a freight train. Nose to tail. Whittaker. Whittaker was trying to squeeze on through on Sam Chapman, I think it might have been. Actually, Dale Sharp, rather. Joe Baldwin and Kurt Chapman remain where they started, first and second. Back to the main straight, 1 lap gone. So we're looking around that 19, 20 lap marker for this race. 4 laps every 5 minutes with the splash and dash. And but if they clock around that 1 minute 16, 17 marker, It will shave some time off the clock. We'll wait and see if we get to 19 or 20. I'm going to wager 20.
Someone has gone
wide.
Incredibly
wide
off.
we go. And we'll find out the reg of that in just a moment. Sam Chapman, actually. Oh, and into the wall. And into the wall on the rejoin. It just went from bad to ugly for Sam Chapman.
Oh, there he is there.
Yeah, there he is there. Just couldn't get a grip of it. It swayed left and then flicked back hard right. There was somebody else up the track behind him as well, but it doesn't matter now because he's the big loser in all of that.
There's the damage to that front right. That is severe damage. Luckily, they do get a fast repair. So.
Through they come again. They do indeed, and some of them are going to need it. They had one in race one, but it costs you more if you use it in race one. Michael Ladder and Paul Nichols were under investigation in race control, but there'll be no further action on that. Grant Gill to third and with the fastest lap of the race. Grant Gill down the inside of Hamner. Hamner holds on around the outside, runs it off the track.
Oh!
Goes through to third.
That was a
rejoin was very
That was a heavy rejoin. Luckily, Lavis was paying attention.
(4-0) Brisbane leading Melbourne at Suncorp in front of a rather healthy crowd. Thursday night football. I'll keep you updated on that one throughout the course of the night. I'll be happy if Melbourne lose that game in the sense that I didn't waste the money to go to it. Down the inside, Brendan Whittaker. Sam Chapman back out onto the racetrack.
Oh no, Hammer said
3/4 of a lap down.
Grant Gill?
Grant Gill. Contact. And a moment there. The exit of turn 9, I think it is, Dandenong Road. Let's wait and see. Yeah, he's been cleaned up. Bang, gone. See you later. Anma got into the side of him and then just kept digging the foot in and pointed Gill the wrong way in between the fence. There, the arm coat. And parked perfectly in the gap. It'll be under investigation. Another incident between Chris Whittaker and Sam Chapman. Can you believe that? It's been a week for it. Chris Whittaker and Sam Chapman are under investigation from race control. We'll keep our eyes on that. Conversion successful from Brisbane in the 7th minute of play. And Brisbane lead Melbourne 6-0 at Suncorp. Thursday night football, the NRL, round 27. Of course, the AFL having the week off, but the AFLW getting underway tomorrow. The Boomers at the Basketball World Cup, that continues into the weekend as well. So lots of great sport on, and of course 1 a.m. tomorrow morning, day 4 of the US Open Tennis Championships from Flushing Meadows, New York. Now, we're riding on board with Adam Lavis. This might explain what happened to...
Oh, yeah, just right in front.
Oh, yeah. Tyson Hanmo, that wasn't the best rejoin I've ever seen. Not the best rejoin at all. Down to turn 1. There's Chris Whittaker trying to fight back through the field in 7th at the moment. Brendan Whittaker the next target. Anthony Adshead there for company, and Whittaker is passed. Sandown has haunting memories for Whittaker in TCR. I mentioned that last week. Now, Hanmer and Gill quite rightly under investigation from race control. Here's Matt Schmidtke up into 8th place, up 4 spots. Tony Baker up 6, Robert McGrath up 3. We've got a full field of 17 still running here, folks. Sharp, Hanmer and Nichols have all pitted at the end of lap 3 to continue the charge. Chapman pitted at the end of lap 2. So all those guys are right to get to the checkered flag, but there's a reason why they've come to pit lane early. In the instance of Chapman, it was because of an issue, I do believe, where he clattered the wall there at turn 3. So it would have been a fast repair for him. And then a top up as well. Chris Whittaker was redressed with Sam Chapman on lap 2. So no harm, no foul. Back to Kurt Chapman now.
Chris Whittaker with the fastest lap there. 1:16.07.
Joe Baldwin's still controlling this race just nicely.
He is.
1.7 clear of Adam Lavis. And as you can see there, Lavis has a freight train assembling behind him. Wood, Chapman and Brendan Whittaker. Then Chris Whittaker in the next car along the line there. That's the gap, 1.1 seconds. Adshead, Schmidtke, Baker, McGrath make up the top 10.
Oh, he's sliding! Oh, he's got...
Oh, whoa, whoa. Kurt Chapman in the wall. Kurt Chapman in the wall and on the tow rope, I would imagine. Or has he been able to get back on the black stuff? Let's have a look at this. It says he's got back on the track. So whatever the case may be, Joe Baldwin to pit lane. And Chapman has done that all on his own. And, yep, he'll be taking that one back to pit lane to get a fast repair and fuel up and get to the checkered flag. So some of these guys, their strategy being dictated to by their own errors on the racetrack. And it just went out from under him at the fastest point of the racetrack, turn 6. Oh, boy. So Lavis now controls the race with Joe Baldwin having pitted. He comes back out in 12th behind Grant Gill. Gill yet to stop, of course, but with that earlier incident with the car of Tyson Hanma, he is the last of the runners at the moment. Down to turn 9, and Brendan Whittaker sitting there patiently, waiting for his moment with Nick Wood.
Gap is starting to extend slightly. Lavis with a half a second gap to Wood. Wood with a half a second gap to Whittaker behind. As I say that, we're just starting to use the draft to his advantage. But
Down to turn 1. You're right about using the draft to your advantage around here. It can make all the difference, but at the same time, Daniel, you don't want to lose that toe.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, Tyson and Grant's incident has been viewed as a racing incident. No penalty to pay for Tyson. Play on. Grant Gill will... I reckon he'd be filthy with that. Because it's undone his hard work to be at the pointy end of town. Early in the piece. He won't factor in the results here at the end of the night. It's unlucky for Grant. 10 minutes gone. We're at the end of lap 8. Lavis leads it from Wood. Whittaker and Adshead the top 5. When do these guys blink? When do they come to pit lane? How late can they leave it? How late do they want to leave it? No merit in taking tyres here at this in a race this short either, I wouldn't imagine.
Oh, I thought they'd come together, and they have. That's King and... Oh, Gill.
Latter. And, yeah, King and Latter, actually.
Oh, sorry.
Yep, Phil's just gone through the bottom of shot, and Baldwin with him. But Phil King and Michael Latter have come together. It's another incident for Philip King in this race. He's had a couple now. He will be frustrated by that, I would imagine. And rightly so, but we'll have a look at the replay and find out exactly what the hell happened. But King has slid back into 13th place.
So King's gone off onto the grass
Latter's
here.
come to pit lane.
And, he's actually touched him on the side there, so it's unfortunate.
So King would have been trying to redress. But
and they've hit each other.
Latter coming straight to pit lane, he wouldn't have been able to. He wouldn't have been able to redress. So race control will have to contend with that one. And here's Matt Schmidtke and Tony Baker. down the main straight. Can Baker set up an overtaking opportunity? Or will Schmidtke keep him at bay? Only quarter of a second separates the two of them. Have a look at the battle pack forming for the lead. Adam Lavis is under all sorts of pressure. He's under the pump from Nick Wood and Brendan Whittaker and Chris Whittaker as well. But we go with Tony Baker for the moment. He's up 8 spots. Fastest lap of the race, Chris Whittaker, 1:15.596. 12 minutes gone, we're on lap 10. Philip King's off the road again. Brendan Whittaker, 3rd place now. And along to Dandenong Road we'll go. Oh boy. Whittaker comes back around. In close pursuit of Nick Wood here. Adshead is 5th, Schmidtke, Baker 6th and 7th, McGrath, Gill and Baldwin make up the top 10. Michael Ladder down a lap now as a result of a 45-second pit stop and Tony Baker to pit lane. So the field's about half cleansed now. 9 have pitted, 8 to go.
Oh, Whittaker on the inside. No. A little too late there.
That was never going to work. The gap closed very quickly. Too quickly for Whittaker's liking, and that's just opened the door for Chris to have a sniff, and Chris will say, thanks very much, little bro. I'm not going to wait for a second invitation.
I don't know if he's still got this. He's on the inside, but he'll have to break.
Whittaker
Oh, no, there he is.
No, Chris has got back on by and slid in front and decided the battle before they got to the corner, before they got to the critical point. So that was good to see. Let's wait for some pit lane activity. Here it comes. Chris and Brendan in simultaneously. How about that? So the two Whittakers on pit road in a move that could decide the race, or could help decide the race. Schmidtke goes to 4th. The 5 remaining cars yet to stop are Lavis, Wood, Adshead, Schmidtke and Gill. But unfortunately for Grant Gill, he's come out behind Brendan and Chris Whittaker. So his night's just about toast. Robert McGrath's come to pit lane and continued on after 6.52 seconds stationary. There are 7 Hyundais in the field. There are 6 Audis. In the field of 17, that would leave 4 Hondas. Sam Chapman, Paul Nichols, Anthony Adshead and Chris Whittaker aboard those.
Oh, Schmidtke's got so deep.
Oh, Schmidtke! He's done exactly what a couple have done before him. Rode too much curb on the exit of 7 and 8 and into 9. And once you're on that curb and you've clipped the grass, the brakes aren't going to be working for you, I wouldn't imagine. Have a look at this. He was all over the shot going through 7 and 8, and then that contact through 8 with the ripple strip just sent him right out to the right-hand side and over the ripple strip. Schmidtke in 3rd. Nick Wood is 4th, having just rejoined the circuit, but Matt Schmidtke now has done himself a serious injustice there. And that's the thing, for a racetrack that is deceptively simple, it's anything but, Daniel, because at the end of the day, blink and you miss it. Blink, make the slightest error. There's no margin for error around here. You put a foot wrong and you pay the price, because there's grass, there's gravel, and there's Armco waiting for you.
Yeah, Sandown is one of those tracks, where, like you said, it's actually well put, deceptively simple. Because if you look at it on a track map, you think, oh, that's just a rectangle with some attitude. But all the curbs here and all the turns are done just so that you make one mistake the next turn ahead of you is spitting you into a wall, or it's spitting you into the grass or into the sand. And so it's one of those tracks where you have to always keep your guard up. You always have to keep your focus. Otherwise, it will chew you up and it will spit you out.
Adam Lavis to pit road. And following him in this time around is no one of that remaining 3 that are yet to stop. They've all opted to go on for another lap. Anthony Adshead, Matt Schmidtke, and also Grant Gill. They've all opted to play on a little bit longer. Lavis rejoins in 3rd place. Best on corrected order of the field at the moment. Adam Lavis is in a seriously promising position here, a seriously good position to have a crack at race victory. When do the others blink? That's the question. Lap 14. We suspect we're going to get 20 here. We're watching Brendan Whitaker chase Nick Wood. Nick Wood threw away a podium finish in the last race, on the last lap, in the final sector. He won't make the same mistake twice if presented another opportunity to finish on the podium, you wouldn't suspect. Adshead continues on. Schmidtke does as well. We're waiting for Grant Gill also when he comes to pit lane. He's coming down the main straight now. He's continuing on for another lap. So these 3 are going very long into the stint.
I'm not sure what the thought process there is, because the longer they do that, the more time they lose to Adam. He's closing the gap quite well. So yeah, that's a peculiar one to me, staying out that long.
Not unfamiliar though for TCR, not uncommon. We've seen long stints in this game before, but you're right, they're doing themselves a little bit of an injustice to Adam Lavis here. Although that being said, Schmidtke's not in the fight. He's had a spin. Adshead may have been in the fight, and he's only 8 seconds up the road, or 11 seconds up the road on Lavis. But that's not enough to come into pit lane transit and get the job done. He'll slot back out in behind somebody like Nick or Brendan, as Matt Schmidtke and Anthony Adshead now come to pit lane, and Grant, so I would imagine, will this time as well in the field to be cleansed. By my numbers, we've got 5 laps to go at Sandown.
So there we go. They're both, everyone's in now. So Adam up to the front of the pack. Less than a second gap to Chris Whitaker behind. And the same repeated for both Nick Wood and Brendan Whitaker. So I think we might have a 4-way battle to the line. And as we just tick down to the 5-minute mark, might see some desperation moves start to settle in.
So who dives first? Or is Chris going to be content to push Adam to the line and let him notch up a W? We wait and see. Phil King and Kurt Chapman have found each other again.
Ooh.
Michael Ladder's 41 seconds further down the road. And Sam Chapman's back on pit road as well. There's a developing story. Sam Chapman is back on pit road.
And he's just jumped to pits too. Let me have a look here. Oh, no, there's been...
he's had another incident. That's why. That's down at turn 8 and 9 again. Oh, Sam Chapman has had a shocker of a night in the TCRs at Sandown.
Oh, that's it.
Grass. That'll do it every day of the week. Oh. Bang.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
And that was 3 strikes and you're out. He got the grass on the outside, the ripple strip on the inside, and that pirouetted him into the Armco on the outside. Grass, curb, Armco. That'll do it every day of the week.
Yeah, he was just missing the sand for a full house.
Yes. Wasn't too far away, though. It was only 100 metres further down the road.
That's it.
Kurt Chapman, in the meanwhile, all over the back of Phil King. We shouldn't make light of it. The closest battle on the racetrack, this one actually, although the battle for first is 4 deep. This is a two-way fight for 14th place. We've got 16 of the 17 still running. Sam Chapman has parked up for the night. He's out. He's done. Lavis, Whittaker, Wood, and Whittaker the top 4.
Yeah, the gaps at the front there are staying steady. Everyone doing 1:15.85, 8:7, 5:9 from Nick Wood there.
Whoa, that's the second fastest lap of the race. Only 100th slower than Whittaker. Or 1,000th even, more to the point. 5.96 plays 5.97. Don't mind me, folks. I'm just chopping up the old drink bottle to lubricate the tonsils throughout the course of the night. Someone's got to do it. And considering I'm going to Perth in 8 weeks' time to commentate Hyundai Excel racing, the first thing going in the luggage case is honey. Now, an update from Suncorp Stadium, Melbourne and Brisbane. 12-8 in favour of Brisbane. Melbourne have just scored their second try, but their conversion attempt for the first one was unsuccessful. So 12-8 and kick to come. Brisbane are 2 from 2 with the boot. Melbourne none from 1. But that one's going to get taken away from him because his foot's in the touchline. So it'll be 12-4 and it'll be in favour of Brisbane and play on. 23 minutes gone here. Next time by the line, Adam Lavis will get the last lap board. We've just started lap 19. Brendan Whittaker is in close pursuit of Nick Wood, who we're riding on board with here. And now chasing Chris Whittaker and Adam Lavis. Lavis, the race leader, 0.71 of a second. And content to keep it that way. And Chris will be happy. Whoa, that's trouble, that's trouble, that's trouble. For the second time tonight, the new name in the server, Tyson Hanma, finds himself in the thick of the garbage. Getting into the side of Joe Baldwin, who's had a beautiful run.
Yeah, Joe Baldwin actually doing well to keep the car steady there.
And not only that, the fact that he won the invert, he started first. That's only the 4 hot shots of the championship that have ended up in front of him here. It's Lavis, Whittaker, Wood and Whittaker. Hanma might try and find a way by in the closing stages, but after that argy-bargy, I think Baldwin would be happy to keep him at bay. Intent and content to keep him at bay if he can. All right, we'll follow that battle with interest. White flag in the air. 1 to go at Sandown. Let's go. We're right on board with Nick Wood. Chris Whittaker's got the fastest lap of the race. Adam Lavis holds a slender advantage. Is Whittaker happy to push him along, considering he's got 2 positions on Brendan at the moment, so that'll have him covered on points as far as this round is concerned. Down to turn 1 we go. Whittaker throwing everything at this, but Lavis, we know that he's a little gun peddler in these GCR machines. He goes all right. He's had success here before. Big dive down the outside, Dale Sharp. Contact with Hanma. They're both wide at 1. Advantage Joe Baldwin. The more these 2 scrap on, the better it is for Joe. Look at that. We've lost Michael Ladder in the closing stages of this race. In terms of any positional battle, he's going to finish a lap down. There will be 16 finishes in this race. He will be the last of them, but he is a lap down. Everybody else has started their last lap. Phil King and Kurt Chapman coming to do so. But at the front end of town, Adam Lavis. So many times the bridesmaid, but on this particular occasion, last turn, checkered flag, he gets the job done at Sandown in race 2 of round 8 of the production car series. Oh, he's a little maestro in TCR, and he's proven why yet again. Chris Whittaker 2nd, Nick Wood 3rd, Brendan Whittaker 4th, Joe Baldwin a top 5, well done. 6th place to Tyson Hanma, Dale Sharp, Anthony Adshead, Tony Baker, and Matt Schmidtke make up the top 10. It was tame in parts. Schmidtke and Gill.
Oh, mate.
Sorry, it was McGrath he's got by. My apologies. I've been getting Schmidtke and McGrath confused all night, but it was Gill edging out McGrath on the stroke of full time as they headed to the checkered flag. Brilliant stuff. And this is how he did it. Don't often see this. A move up the outside from Grant Gill. Very impressive. McGrath did all he could, but could do nothing in the end to keep Gill at bay. Well done. That was fantastic from Robert McGrath and Grant Gill. The clean sort of racing you'd like to see in this club. Uh-oh. Phil King is limping to the line, out of gas, out of juice. And done. Michael Ladder finishes a lap down. Biggest mover in that race up 6 spots, Brendan Whitaker and Tony Baker, but 7 spots for Lavis and Chris Whitaker. And we'll go to Lavis on the countback of corrected order. The fact that he's first across the line, so he's got the higher finishing position, therefore the advantage will go with him. So he collects some bonus points there. Fastest lap of the race, bonus points will go to Chris Whitaker. Anyone that got a 0x in that race has done well. Oh boy. Great racing at Sandown once more. 2 seconds for CW. A third and a first for Lavis. A first and a fourth for Brendan Whitaker. And Nick Wood a fifth and a third. Not bad. Not bad at all. Good racing. Sam Chapman unlucky tonight.
Yeah.
Michael Ladder a 45-second pit stop. That was never going to work for him. Everybody else kept it as clean and as tidy as possible. Oh dear. Well, that's. I'm just looking right at a screen here, Daniel, as we wait for some drivers to join us, and we'll have a chat to them in just a moment. And I've just seen one of the worst goal line dropouts of all time in the NRL. And Brisbane have got themselves a penalty and an opportunity to extend their lead to 10 points, or go for the 6, and or go for the try and therefore the conversion attempt as well. But 12-4, and they tried to go for a short goal line dropout, and it went out on the full. So all of a sudden, they go from attack to defence in the blink of an eye, do the Melbourne Storm. And I'm starting to feel very, very happy about the fact that I opted not to spend money and spend the night with you blokes. Oh, boy. Dear, oh, dear. It can be frustrating being a rugby league supporter at times when your team's playing as though it's a reserve grade or a third grade fixture.
Yeah, sports is a cruel mistress.
Oh, isn't it? But we all love it.
We do.
We all love it for a various number of different reasons. And the recent Women's World Cup proved why. Joe Baldwin joins us in the booth once more. Well done, mate. Solid performance from you and the little old bum draggers, as they're affectionately known. That was a solid effort to withstand the pressure of those around you in the early stages, control the race, contain the field. And, I mean, only 4 of the guns in this championship found a way by you, and you brought it home in 5th, not without some serious pressure looming in the final few laps from the likes of Tyson Handler and also Dale Sharp.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Tyson, he really put it to me there on that second last lap. I actually made a mistake coming down the back straight. I don't know why I done it. It's the only time I did it all night. Just so I lifted off, downshifted and went to turn into the kink. It back end just stepped out. And it took me off course. And there, if you're smart there, if you just power through and go, oh, I'm going to get the off track, you power through, you get about a 0.8 slow down. If you actually lift off, coast through, it drops it down to about a 0.4. So the 0.4 slowdown I could manage and keep him behind me, but he was right on the bumper. But it was great racing with Tyson. I just got smart early early on. I thought I'm not going to be able to fight these fast guys who are in the run for the championship. So when they all got on the tail, I had a pretty good start. I think I got out second lead or so. But once everyone started catching, I seen Adam and guys were all getting close. I just got out of the way. No point racing them, slow them up, and slow me up. I'll irritate them guys. I'll just go to the pits, run my own race, and it seemed to have worked out. I'm pretty happy with that result.
It definitely paid off, mate. No doubt about that. And you did the right thing, as you say. You got out of the congestion, got yourself some clear air, got your stop out of the way early, ticked all the boxes, let those guys go and have at it, and you ended up being the next best time. So well done. And the only disappointing thing out of all of that, Joe, is that more people didn't come and join in the fun, because it is Sandown after all.
Yeah, definitely. It's a fantastic circuit. It doesn't seem, no matter what car we bring here or race here or whatever, it's always great fun. I love Sandown. to look at it on paper, it's very simple, but it's anything but. It's it's a fantastic venue. Like down the end of the back straight, that's high stakes stuff. If you get it wrong, walls and stuff there. And we ran IndyCars here, I think, on a broadcast a couple of seasons ago, and I saw my clip from there making it pretty famous. I think I took every wheel off the car and all the fences down, and just through looking at my fuel at the wrong time and got a twitch up, and so it can go wrong down there very quickly. But I mean, it's a real life venue. We get the privilege of still watching. Unlike Oran Park and Pukekohe's gone away and stuff like that. So it's good that it's still around. We get to enjoy it and get to enjoy it on the sim even more, I guess.
Not going to lie, when they drop Pukekohe on the server, I think we're all looking forward to racing some supercars, some TCR, some Formula V around there. It is a terrific little racetrack, a great little bull ring. And I must say now, now's the time to start lobbying for the Western Australian Sporting Car Club to get in contact with iRacing as well and get Barbagallo screened too. And while they're at it, while iRacing are at it, they might actually want to come around here and come over to Australia and scan some Hyundai Excels and get them in the server as well, just quietly. But
wouldn't they be fun?
Oh, wouldn't they?
I've actually raced around on, I think original R Factor was, I found a mod of Barbagallo Raceway, and it's actually for another simple layout. It's actually really tricky with the off camber, the loop, and all that sort of stuff. It would be good fun, sure.
Indeed, it is. Stay with us, trucker. I'll have a quick chat to you off air, unless you're going to get in ready to the Porsches. Are you going into the Porsche?
Just about to go and qualify, mate, but I'll still be here.
All right, still be here, but if you want to mute yourself and concentrate on that, do so. We'll have a chat to you in the intermission here in just a few moments' time. Let me bring in the man that was, the bridesmaid tonight on both counts, because he was second in race 1, he was second in race 2, but at least it's mates that have been getting the better of you on these occasions. CW, you kept it clean tonight in a racetrack, in a car and track combo, and a venue that really bring back nothing but bad memories going back a couple of seasons.
You missed second in quali as well, mate. So
yes, the trifecta, the hat trick.
The hat trick in being bridesmaid, exactly. So, it was an interesting little. Right. There we go. I did hit Sam up the bum into turn 1 on lap 2. He caught it on the exit and then threw it away himself. So that's why race control's seen it how they've seen it. So is what it is. I broke myself, put my hand up, I stuffed up, is what it is. Happens to the best of us, but he certainly caught it, had plenty of time to keep on going from there. So, it was an interesting night, mate. I was actually practicing in the Veloster last night, stuck an hour in, and had every intention of driving the Veloster, and then thought I'd jump in the Honda just before practice, or as the server opened, I jumped in the Honda for a private session, and she liked the curbs a little bit better than what the Veloster did, so I thought I'll stick with what I know, and whether it was the right move or not, I'm not too sure, but a couple of seconds, it kind of helps in the championship, but
Okay.
That's all right, mate. We'll just deal with another dodgy race control decision like last week. It's all good, mate. It's all good. So, is what it is. But just ambiguous rules in the rule book. Apparently, in writing, Rubbin's racing, but apparently Netcode's not racing. So I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is.
This is going to be another controversial. This is kind of the shades of Michael Hammond versus 5 or 6 different people. This is a bit like Jackson Ray Harder and Kai Ardley. We're talking those sorts of rivalries now.
Oh, apparently so. So I don't know. I mean, Sam's certainly hit me before. He's hit a lot of people before. I've hit a lot of people before. So, it's a mistake at the start of a race on cold tyres. I'm sure he can't stand up and say that he's never done that before. But again, there's oodles of runoff on turn 1, and I've watched the replay myself. He's caught it. I actually don't know how he's lost it when he got back on the track, and that's not being a smart ass or anything. I genuinely don't know how that's happened, but whether he's had the wheel on a dodgy angle or something like that, I can't imagine it was damage, because I was sort of trying to be honest, throw it up the inside after I realised I broke myself, and then just didn't know what to do, and caught the rear of his car. But yeah, whatever. Is what it is. We'll let race control make a decision, and yeah, I probably won't agree with it again, but whatever. Is what it is. Making a good championship out of it at least, aren't they?
True. 12-8 in favour of Brisbane over Melbourne. Thursday Night Football live scoreboard update for you from Suncorp Stadium. And thankfully, Melbourne somehow didn't concede points after Ryan Pappenhausen confused the games of rugby league and rugby union with his goal line dropout attempts, but that's another story. We're talking about an incident between Chris Whittaker and Sam Chapman for the second week in a row on Thursday Night Motorsport. If you're just joining us on the platform for Gentlemen Sim Racing Club, we've got Porsches coming up from Sandown in just a few moments. That'll be interesting. But as for the rest of the night, with the exception of that incident, CW, because that seems to be the main sticking point here, but with the exception of that, everything else was smooth sailing. Race 1 went well. You pushed Brendan along very nicely. Nick Wood got himself undone on the last lap. Adam Lavis ended up on the podium, so that was good for him as well. Then in race 2, were you having a serious crack trying to get by Adam, or were you content, happy to push him to the checkered flag?
Come on, mate, you know me better than that.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, that's it. No, race 1, I think I had the pace on Brendan. I just couldn't do anything with it. That Landry looked like an absolute pig. I hit him up the bum a couple of times as well. It was just, through the slow stuff, it just did not have any mid-corner grip. Yeah, just...
We were riding on board while there was...
yeah, right.
Sibling love touch going on,
and I knew it straight away. The second I hit the brake pedal, I'm going, sorry. So thankfully I was able to keep the wheel straight on impact, so it didn't sort of send him bush or anything like that. But yeah, Nick Wood bounces back. We haven't seen him for a couple of weeks, and he had some seriously good pace, just unlucky at the end there. But in race 2, mate, it was... my JRT decided to tell me that I needed 7.9, so I stuck 8 litres in, which was a little bit on the thirsty side anyway, and came out of the pit at 8.5, I needed another half litre, so it was pretty good. So I really don't know that I was getting through it. It's just an 8 down there. When it's only a couple of tenths of a second a lap between you, it's near impossible to pass unless someone makes a really big boo-boo. So it was just a matter of sit there and pressure at him as much as he could, and as much as I could. I made a few mistakes myself behind him, which didn't help the cause, but as they say, that's racing, so we'll just move on to next week.
Indeed we will, and on the subject of next week, if we just wind the clock forward 7 days here and remind everybody that we'll be in spring by this point, the penultimate round of the season, the Toyota 86s and Interlagos. I like that combo.
Oh yeah, that'll be good fun. That'll be really good fun. So when do we change? When do we change onto that other time so I can get a bit earlier?
Shut up, Chris. Shut up. Not early enough.
Genuine question.
Not early enough in the evening for me to be using the words that I want to use in your direction right now. You know exactly when it's coming up. Unfortunately, it's a month tomorrow. NRL Grand Final Day, in other words. Yeah. Just after Term 4 starts, actually. So, week 1 of Term 4, everybody's on the same time frame as we are now, and then all of a sudden, we go in and jumble it up like last night's pizza. So, just to confuse the living daylights out of everybody and divide everybody up by, far more than what we already are. At least when I go to WA at the end of October, Chris, the time zone makes a little bit more sense then, because they're actually in a completely different part of the country. Unlike here, where it's just a case of, when the shops shut at 6 o'clock on a Sunday night, I don't need to tell you how backward we are. It's already there in writing for everybody to see. And while I'm on the subject, since you've got me started, I can't believe it's taken until this week, for people to be questioning the Premier and her leadership. It should have been questioned about 4 years ago. We're going to a break on that note. Shut up, Whittaker. Good to have you company on the platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. Thursday Night Motorsport across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. We'll continue the banter off the air here. We've got the Porsches coming up from Suzuka in about 10 minutes' time. Once we get pictures in from Japan, we'll bring them up on the screen for you so you can have a look at the tail end of qualifying, and then, of course, we'll get stuck into the 40-minute race. Thursday Night Motorsport on the GSRC platforms. Good to have you on the ride. Thursday night motorsport on the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club, and into leg 2 of the doubleheader we go, from the entree to the main course, from Sandown to Japan, from TCR to Porsches, from the Production Car Championship to the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup. It is night 4 of week 8 of term 3 of Thursday night motorsport 4 season on the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. Season 14 for the club, term 3 of 2023, and we're at the business end of the campaign. This round, 40 minutes, the last of the 40-minute sprints on the calendar for the Porsches on the back of last week's around Silverstone. Then we go to Spa next week for 60 minutes, and then that super sprint format around Phillip Island the weekend after that. This is the last night of August and therefore winter as well, and we're at the 5.75 kilometre Suzuka International Circuit. The time is set to 8:58 in the morning, clock moving twice as fast as it would in the real world. We'll update that for you when the race server clicks in just a few moments' time. Currently sitting on 15 degrees and 23 on track, and it is the Grand Prix configuration of this circuit, despite some rejection last week to have either the east or the west course in play. No, we're going with the full course, and rightly so. 93% humidity, 11 km/h winds, a beautiful setting, a beautiful day there in Asia for this third last round of the season. Matty Dench leads the points table at the moment, and you shouldn't be surprised by any of that. 360 points over Samuel Sproul, 306. Sam Muir, 249 and 240 for Jeff Adams. Guy Leach, 216. Brett Barker, 206. 201 for Corey Lazarus. Richie King, 190. Andrew Smith, 183. And Shane Wright, 163 points make up the top 10. The open split at the moment, Paul Wilson on top there from Adam Lavers, 352 plays 308, 266 for Joe Baldwin, Stephen Gallacher, 248, Chuk Fung Wong, 220. And then Nick Wood, Greg Padgett, Brett Bradbury, David Christensen, and Chris Riddell make up the top 10. Very nicely done. We're getting ready for start here as the cars get ready to make their way out onto the track. The qualifying session is at an end. There are some lap times still being set out there late in the piece, but Matty Dench is a clear and comfortable pole sitter by half a second over Dylan Shepherd. Then Sam Muir, Aaron Cooper, Samuel Sproul, Jared Knight, Dane Snadden, Jeff Adams, Brett Barker, and Richard King. The best of the open split is Paul Wilson in 11th, ahead of Nick Wood, Adam Lavis, Michael Schroeder, Stephen Gallacher, and Philip Clark. Now, we couldn't do what we do on the platforms of the GSRC each Monday and Thursday without the support of the great people scrolling across the bottom of your screen. They include Waste Options, Orbic Australia, Blackout Electrical Solutions, Login Systems, Astute Finance, Fisher & Door Lawyers, and Flash Graphics. Daniel Correa-Sars here alongside me. The TCRs didn't really disappoint. A little bit of it was lackluster, but the quality was still there. It'd be interesting to see whether we get a hit or a stink here at Suzuka.
Yes, indeed. No, it was a good first session for the night. A couple of heated exchanges, shall we say, towards the end there. But yes, look, I like Suzuka. I think it can produce some really good racing. Joe did mention earlier on in the broadcast that it is more suited for high downforce cars, and I will agree with him. The layout definitely is suited better for those types of cars. But I think we can have a great race. We've got, 23 cars on the track, so it should be a good one. But for your sake, Zach, let's hope that we avoid the safety cars.
Oh, yeah, if we avoid a safety car, we might just bring that interlude music on, actually, and just let it do the talking for us. Dead set. My goodness.
So I think they should be finishing up now. I can see some people still coming into the pit. Should tick over soon.
So Dench doing what Dench does, and he's got a comfortable and commanding lead in the championship. Remembering he needs to lead it by about 106, 107 points to have it secured before the final round at Phillip Island. Unlike GT3, where that looks like it's going to come to fruition, it looks like he might have to turn up and just tick a box or two on the final night of the term in 2 weeks' time to get the job done to ensure that he's across the finish line for title number 7. It would be title number 7 in both GT3 and the Porsche Cup for Matt Dench. He's also won a GT4 championship somewhere along the way. He's won a GTE championship somewhere along the way. There's not much he hasn't done in terms of box ticking. in the GSRC servers. And we are ready to rock and roll as we update to race server for you. And 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 36 degrees on track, 18 the ambient. That's believable. Although it's supposed to be summer over there, so I'm not really confident about that. Matt Dench and Dylan Shepherd share the front row. Look at the margin, 0.5 second. That's how clinical Dench was. Ren Sam Muir and Aaron Cooper, Samuel Sproul and Jared Knight, Dane Snadden and Jeff Adams make up the 4th row. Brett Barker and Richard King round out the top 10. We go across to the open split, and there's the first 5 rows of that. Paul Wilson, Nick Wood, Adam Lavis, Michael Schroeder, the first 2 rows. Stephen Gallacher, Philip Clark from row 8. Row 9 is Brett Bradbury and Tristan Kosh. Row 10, Joe Baldwin and Robert McGrath. Grant Gill, Robert Colbreth and Neil McKenzie will make up the field. A field of 23 from the Suzuka International Racing Course in Japan. We are ready to rock and roll. Thursday night motorsport, the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Leg 2 of the doubleheader. Brisbane trailing Melbourne at half-time at Suncorp Stadium, 14-12. Melbourne have come from behind and they've had a couple of shocking conversion attempts and a couple of very amateurish sort of moments in the first half, but they've still managed to find their way to the lead at the long break, and I'm not terribly sure how they've done that. But there's still a long way to go. It's a game of 2 halves for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. Set for a start here. Nice to have you along for the ride. Thursday night motorsport round out the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup from Suzuka. Let's get it on. Let's go to work. Oh, it's always tight off the line at Suzuka when it's 3 and 4 wide down the main straight, but the field sorts itself out on the run to turn 1, and Dench has got the jump. Under pressure early from Dylan Shepherd. Dylan Shepherd going through to take the lead away from Matt Dench. There was a little bit of argy-bargy, higgledy-piggledy stuff further back in the field, but everybody's safely away. 22 starters, 22 still running through the S's. The opening sector. It's tight, it's technical, it's challenging, but it's fast as well. And Dench has lost out at the start from Dylan Shepherd. However, how many times have we seen this rodeo? How many times have we been here? Dench will just sit patiently, contently behind Dylan Shepherd and let him do all the heavy lifting. Not a bad start. As I said in the opening, you either get an instant classic or a dead set stinker here at Suzuka. There's no in between. Through they come. It's Shepherd, it's Dench, it's Muir, it's Sproul, it's Snadden and Knight, the top 6. Up to 130R they go. No fastest point of the racetrack. It's a clean start. And it's very single file, very nose to tail sort of stuff. Oh, here we go. Move on, move on, move on. Aaron Cooper down the inside of Jeff Adams. Got the job done, jumps up into 7th. Jeff Adams back to 8th. Brett Barker and Paul Wilson are there arguing over 9th and 10th. Wilson actually has displaced Richard King. There goes Grant Gill. Richard King has been displaced by Paul Wilson. Paul Wilson not only the leader of the open split, but now in the top 10 outright as well. Good stuff.
I didn't want to jinx it, but we did have at least one spin there at the end of the lap. I was like, oh, it's going to be clean.
And to be honest, we did it without actually putting the camera on Grant Gill. It's not like when he used to put the camera on people and they'd crack under the pressure. He cracked before the pressure was mounted. Only 2 minutes 50 gone. 40-minute race, 2 minutes 6 lap time around here. So somewhere in the vicinity of 19 laps on the horizon tonight. And the...
Oh, something's happened to Sproul. Hold on a minute.
Uh-oh, Samuel Sproul. He's down 7 spots. He's off the road down the bottom of the first sector. He was right out of our view. We couldn't see him. He disappeared completely out of the line of the camera view.
Oh! Lock up there on the curb.
That's a very bizarre incident. He locked it up on the curb, trying to get on the brakes. It didn't work. He's dropped 7 spots. Make it actually, let's have a look here. Actually, he's made it a lot more than that. He's dropped down 16 positions now. Now that he's been able to rejoin, he is 21st on the racetrack. My goodness gracious me. A quick update from Suncorp. Brisbane bounce back, strike first in the second half. 18-14 now in favour of them over Melbourne. So if you're just joining us, this is Thursday Night Motorsport. And that is Phil Clark on screen at the moment with the blue and yellow. Now here's Dench just making it look easy, just tapping and pushing Dylan Shepherd along. Literally punching a hole in the back of that Porsche. SMSing if ever there was some.
Do you reckon he's good enough to do that? Just bip, 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 bip. Just fuel saving, mate. Keep going.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't put it past him. Help me save some fuel, champ. The closer I am to you, the easier it is. I'm just going to tap you along, love tap style, all the way to turn 1. And just be aware of it when you put on the brakes. Just give me a heads up. Or otherwise, I'm going to drill you into the middle of next week and you're going to be in the tyre wall. We've seen it happen before. It wouldn't be the first time. It would be for Dench, but we've seen it with others. Aaron Cooper having a nice run in 6th place at the moment. Everyone a beneficiary of that garbage for that unfortunate situation, that incident for Samuel Sproul. That off-track skirmish and excursion. That makes the rest of the night very difficult for Sproul. It's exceptionally difficult for Sproul. There's no way back from there. He lost way too much time, and he's got to then also come in and splash and dash at some point. Shepherd, Dench, Muir, Snadden, Knight and Cooper the top 6. Adams, Barker, Wilson, Lavis, Gallacher and Baldwin take us back to 12th. Wood, Schroeder, Bradbury, Kosh and McGrath. Then Philip Clark. Then we go back to Sproul, Colbreth, Gill and King. Richard King's already been to pit road, but I think lap 2 might be a little bit too early. He might have to come in again and top up once more at the back end of proceedings here. Whoa, Aaron Cooper riding the Rebel Strip at 130R, and in front of him there, of course, was Jared Knight. He was beyond the Rebel Strip. He was definitely in off-track alert territory. Down the main straight we go once more. I just remembered there's a triple episode of Home and Away to watch after this. That's good. Late night in the office for ZW tonight. Down to turn 1. Brett Barker. Just hanging on the back of the train there. It's 8 deep at the moment, but we're not going to get too excited. We're not going to get too ahead of ourselves here because this is trademark 101 Porsche racing. This is how they operate. There won't be anyone back in that 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th or 8th position that's too keen or too eager to engage in battle here because they'll want to stay on the train. If you engage in battle, you're going to start doing yourselves a disservice as you fall off the train. Because you'll take time away from each other, and time is money in this game. Lap 4. Shepherd, Dench, Muir, then Snadden, Knight, Cooper, Adams, Barker, Wilson, Maverick. That's Adam Lavis, of course. Whoa, Brett Barker just a little bit wide at the spoon curve. Brisbane have taken a successful attempt at penalty goal as well, so it's now 20-14 in favour of the Broncos over the Storm. Down the inside, here comes Dench, here we go, whoa! He opts out of it, but Knight goes through on Sam Muir. He says, I'm not waiting any longer. I'm taking the first opportunity presented to me. Aaron Cooper wants to do the same. Dane Snadden losing ground now. He's dropped a couple of spots. And Nick Wood and Joe Baldwin have swapped around as well. Sproul, Bradbury and King are on pit road. Uh-oh. Samuel Sproul has been caught up in a second incident. And that one terminal. Here it comes out. Uh-oh. Hang on. Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, jeez.
Look at that tires.
That's really unlucky. Now, I'm just trying to work out who was that with him. The 68. That was, of course, Philip Clark. And that, I mean, in that sort of instance, that's what happens when you make a mistake early in the piece and you end up down there, that far, down the order. You leave yourself susceptible to further drama and carnage and chaos. And on this particular occasion, that was Dench having a lunge up the outside of Shepherd, by the way, potentially for the race lead around the outside. He's done himself a misjustice there, potentially, because he's left the door open to Sam Muir, who has no choice but to tuck in. Dench is going for it, and Muir's going with him. But yeah, unfortunately, in that instance, Sproul was minding his own business, doing the right thing. Just, you know, trying to salvage something out of the night that was and tick the boxes. You know, basically go through the formalities, as I like to call it, when you're playing catch-up. But the reality of the situation is he wasn't able to. He was not able to, because as soon as Clark made the mistake there, it just fired him hard right, straight into Sproul's racing line, and that's that. It's done. Wrong place, wrong time, unfortunately, for Samuel Sproul. There should be no investigation really required from race control. It's just a case of very much hard luck. Here we go. Lead change. Dench down the inside of Shepherd. Now the gloves are off. The end of lap 5, and Dench wants to take the lead to turn 1, and Shepherd wants to force the issue around the outside. He's hanging tough. He's hanging tough. Not tough enough. And Matt Dench finds his way to the front. Are we even remotely surprised? I am actually the slightest bit surprised that he hasn't opted to sit back and let Shepherd continue to pull him along. But maybe Dench has got other ideas in mind here. How long until he pulls the trigger, hits the gas and gets going? That's brilliant from Dench. I reckon, I'm just going to have a stab in the dark here, Daniel. I reckon that Denchi's crunched the numbers and he's realised that there's no merit in fuel saving. There must be something ringing loud and clear, alarm bell type stuff in his dash at the moment, saying you're not going to make it without splashing and dashing, no matter how much you try and save. So I reckon now that he's taken up the front running, it'll be a case of, well, catch me if you can, boys. And he's already extended the lead out to half a second. Will he continue to run along at this pace? Will he continue to go along full tilt? Will we see some qualifying numbers from him? Will we see the pace that saw him take pole by half a second? Or will he just casually just eke out that advantage inch by inch? We'll wait and see.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we can confirm that. Just pay attention to his lap times over the next couple of laps. See if he is truly pushing. Oh, Brett Barker!
Big one for Barker.
Oh, he caught it, though.
The 130-yard bites again, but he hasn't written the car off. That's the most surprising aspect of all of that. Does he come to pit lane to collect a fast repair? No, he does not. That's an incredible moment for Brett Barker. What's more incredible is he got away with it. And he didn't scrape or scratch or scrub anything.
So the gap from Dench to Shepherd has now come back down. So he isn't running away with this as much as we thought he would. But I am curious if Shepherd's now playing the same game back to Matthew. which is now he's just going to sit back and allow him to provide some fuel-saving benefits for the next part of this race. Sam Muir's also slightly extending there, 0.6 now. It's a P2, and we're starting to see all those gaps at the back really blow out. Unfortunate incidents there for Grant Gill, Philip Clark. You can see them 22 seconds behind, 49 seconds there for Brett Bradbury, so a big rough one there.
Here's Adam Lavis at 10th place at the moment, second in class, chasing Paul Wilson. A margin 0.7, and Wilson chasing Barker. Barker's been displaced by Adams after that slide, that slip and spin. And this is what happened to Richard King. Oh.
If he keeps us out of a wall. Oh,
wait for it.
Well.
Kept it out of the wall, but he's buried in the sand. Richard King's parked up for the night. His race is done. That was enough for him. He's said, I better go up for this. Get me out of here. But that was not preceded by the words, I'm a celebrity. Samuel Sproul, 6 1/4 minutes gone for him in pit lane, so his night's done as well.
Oh! He's running out of road!
Back from that edge! A championship moment, if ever there was one!
That's going to be...
Shepherd and Muir! My goodness!
That's going to be contentious there. Shepherd, to me, it seemed like he ran him out of room. We'll just let this develop for a bit and we'll go back to the pass. But it did seem as though Shepherd did not let out of the steering or the throttle and forced Dench really wide. And now that's dropped him back to a second back from Sam Muir and in attack range to both Jared Knight and Aaron Cooper.
Let's have a look at the defining moment again. Oh, the gloves are off here. Shepherd, Dench. Dench left the door open. Shepherd's gone down the inside and just left him with nowhere to go. He's just hung him out to dry, literally. And Dench now, I'll tell you what, that'll fire him up. The red mist will have descended. And Dench now will be out to prove a point and make a statement. Keep your eyes peeled on this. Things are about to get interesting here at Suzuka. Aaron Cooper's chasing Jared Knight. Knight and Cooper are the beneficiaries of that because they were brought back to Dench, but not for very long. Not for very long at all. And now that the clean race is gone from Dench's equation, he'll use up those threshold of incident points that he has at his disposal. That 16x or whatever it is that he's allowed to get away with before a penalty gets flung at him by iRacing, to just eke a tenth here or an inch there in clawing back the deficit to Muir and Dench. Muir's all over the back, to Muir and Shepherd. Muir's all over the back of Shepherd at the moment. Half a second the margin. In fact, it's less than that now. And Dench is only 0.62 of a second away. So they've rattled the cage, they've poked the bear, and I think it might come back to bite them. You can understand what Dylan Shepherd was trying to achieve there, because at the end of the day, he had the inside running. It's his corner, but fair's fair. I'm not sure if race control will view that too favourably, the fact that you've run an opponent out of real estate. Let's have a look at it again. Let's have a look at Brett Bradbury. This is what happened to him down at the hairpin. A little bit of grass on the way through.
Oh, no. Oh, and he's gone into the wall. Oh, that explains the double event. Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And he's on the tow rope to pit lane as well. Brett's parked up for the night. There's your third retirement. We're down to 19. Slowly but surely. The attrition rate is climbing. Shepherd, Muir, Dench, Knight, Cooper, Snadden. Then Jeff Adams, Brett Barker. They're the top 8. Open split, led by Wilson from Lavis, Gallacher, Schroeder and Baldwin, the top 5. That's the top 13 in the motor race. Watch Matt Dench now. Will this be a PB? Will this be a purple sector lap? 18 and a half minutes gone. We're at the end of lap 9. We've got 10 to go. 10 plus the transit through pit lane for a splash and dash. Down they come across the start-finish line. Dench is all of a sudden right there. Across the line, look at that. Bang, 2:02.912. 0.3 faster than both Shepherd and Muir. Still not the purple sector he was hoping for. But he's right there. And watch him pip these guys on strategy play now. He won't want to get the elbows any dirtier than he's already done. Dench is right where he wants to be, albeit via a little bit of an unexpected detour.
He also doesn't want to risk damage now, does he? So he's got to think about that.
That's true.
You know, you've got a decent amount of race to go. We're creeping up to that 20-minute mark, but you can't risk anything now. So he'll want to just tuck in and bide his time like we know Dench does. And then with some smart driving and pit strategy, we'll see if he can jump Shepherd at the front. But we thought it might be a boring procession very quickly. Turned into an all-out
it
war.
hasn't actually been so. However, if you look beyond Brett Barker, those gaps are enormous.
Yes.
At 1.5, 4.5, 2.5, 4.5, 4.5, 8, 25. So it's very boring beyond the top 3. And then Aaron Cooper and Jared Knight are going to keep us entertained 4 and 5 as well. Whether this fizzles out into a stinker once we've got through the pit lane transit, the pit lane cycle, that pit window splash and dash that we're expecting very shortly, then it'll be interesting to see what the margins and buffers are that we're playing with. Round they come. Main straight again. Next time by it'll be, back straight now on the way to the main straight to complete lap 10. Next time by, 9 laps to go. We're past half race distance on the clock. We will go to overtime if we need to complete it. It's okay if it goes beyond that 40-minute marker. 41 and a half if needs be. Once you take the splash and dash into account. And that final lap, that 19th lap, there goes Jared Knight. So Aaron Cooper playing on, hoping for the overcut. Knight hoping for the undercut. And at the front, it's Shepherd from Muir and Dench. 2:03.1, 2:03.2, 2:03.1. You couldn't get any tighter than that. Look at the precision of the driving here, Daniel. Just watching some great talent at work. It's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost like they're attached with tow ropes to each other. It's the same movements.
Not quite.
Yeah, not quite.
Too much drama for that.
The same amount of curve, the same amount of track extension here. Oh, Dench went a little bit wider there, but he's also trying to gain a place. So, but yeah, this is really, really good. It's unfortunate there. So, with Jared Knight coming into the pits, that's put Aaron Cooper now 2 seconds behind this pack, 2.5. Dane Snadden 2.5 behind him. And we've still got more than half the field yet to pit. So, that could throw up some wrenches. We will see. But for now, Dench is doing a really good job holding in to the back of Sam Muir here. Sam Muir doesn't know whether to look forward or in the rear view.
It's 20 points apiece at Suncorp, make it 22-20 in favour of Brisbane. They kicked another penalty goal. So a 2-point game Thursday night football at Suncorp and 22 minutes to play there. We've got 18 minutes to play here. 17 and a half, in fact, to be more precise. It's at the end of lap 11. They come to the Casio Triangle and back to the main straight, and another lap in the books. And 2:02.653 is the fastest lap of the night thus far for Sam Muir. At Dench, after getting to the front and then getting a little bit of hip and shoulder treatment, he's just biding his time and waiting for his moment. Shepherd defending Muir on the run to turn 1. So now you can sense just how important it is to Dylan Shepherd to win this race. He is defending as though his life depends on it here. He didn't like Dench getting back in front, and he gave him a little bit of a nudge or an elbow to let him know. Then, of course, he's now fending off Sam Muir, who's one of the front runners in our Monday Night GT4 Championship for Orbic Australia as well. We've got what is it, 18 cars, 19 cars still running out there. Robert Colbreth's a lap down. Robert McGrath's a lap down. Brett Bradbury, Samuel Sproul, Richard King out of business. Grant Gill, the last of the runners on the lead lap. Michael Schroeder's gone to pit lane. We've got only 4 drivers of those still running in the race. 5 drivers. Colbreth has stopped as well, but he's a lap down. 3-minute 20 pit stop will do that to you. We've had Clark, Schroeder, Nick Wood and Jared Knight all stop. The top 11 yet to transit the lane. The top 7 are the best of the runners in the elite split. The next 4 are the best of the runners in the open split. There's Matt Dench. There it is. A GT4, a GTE Championship, 6 Porsche and GT3 Pros as well. About to be 7 in at least GT3 Pro and probably the Porsche as well. Up we go once more. The back straight towards 130R. With Samuel Sproul out of business for the night.
Did you catch that? He's cutting the engine, so he's still doing his strategy.
Yeah, absolutely he is. Samuel Sproul, with his issues tonight, that's advantage. That's leg up Matty Dench as far as winning this championship's concerned. Dench doesn't need to win this to extend his championship lead. Sproul has got a couple of drop rounds to fall back on, but they're not maximum points advantages. So all of a sudden, the seas are parting just nicely for M. Dench, lap 13. And a classic developing at the top end of town. The top 3. We were worried about how this would play out. I was nervous, actually, to be honest with you. And I don't normally get nervous, but I was nervous given the weak turnout we had last week. I was worried that we'd be heading in the same direction and we'd get an absolute dog of a race, an absolute turd, if you like, a snooze. But how wrong were we? And I'm happy to be wrong in this instance because this is edge of your seat drama. We've had 2 issues for Samuel Sproul that's ruled him out of business, rubbed him out. He's gone, night done. We've got Shepherd, Muir and Dench, 3 different teams fighting for outright honours here. And whatever the case, they've got 3 seconds on Aaron Cooper. So you would suspect, barring, some catastrophic sort of failure on pit road for any of these guys, you would imagine this is the podium that we're looking at here, just not maybe necessarily in the particular order that they're running now.
Netcode.
The end of lap 13. Netcode for Dylan Shepherd and Matt Dench at turn 1. I want another look at that. If we can do that, Daniel. Can we have another look at that maybe from an onboard situation?
We should be able to do that. I've just got to
from Dylan Shepherd's onboard, if you can, because that's going to give us a little bit more of an indication. Netcode, that is a bizarre ruling. It might amount to nothing. It'll probably annoy Matt Dench a little bit, but given that he's right there where he needs to be, no harm, no foul. Yes, he lost a little bit of time, but he's caught it back up again. That advantage, that gain has evaporated. Now, the end of lap 13, let's get round.
They got stuck together.
They got stuck together. Dylan wound on more steering during that. Okay, copy that. Thank you. Race control just clearing that up for us. Thank you, Benny. Jumping onto the YouTube chat. Now, we're riding with here's Shepherd, here's Dench. Dench to the inside. That's not that incident, no, because Dench was on the outside. And let's go and have a look at it this time round. Let's go and have a look at it. We're going to need to see a better angle. I think we're going to need to maybe see from the roof or from the bonnet. Here we go. This is going to give us the picture. So this is elaborating on Benny Woods is in race control. So that's who the comment was from. So we thank him for communicating with us there. It's still no clarity. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Benny's probably got access to more angles than we do. Here we go. Let's have a look at it. Let's have a look at it. Let's have a look at it. There. Yep.
Yeah, a little bit, I suppose.
Fair call.
Yeah.
Fair call. Yep, play on. All right. Good stuff. Had to see it with our own eyes. Not that we didn't believe him, but it just caught me by surprise. I'll be perfectly honest. But netcode, we know we've got to contend with that on the odd occasion in this game. Dench is all over the back of Muir and Shepherd. to the spoon curve once more.
These three are inseparable. Inseparable? Inseparable? Whatever. Readings for rich people.
Inseparable. You're right. Inseparable. All right. Muir to the outside. And Shepherd defends. Ooh. How good's this? Through it onto the main straight. Who blinks first? Who's coming to pit lane? No one. Play on. 5 laps to go. Taking into consideration the pit lane transit time there. 11 minutes on the clock. We're clocking 2-minute 2s, 2-minute 3s. I might be actually being generous. We might actually get a 20th out of it. We might get a little bit of overtime. I don't know what the transit time is here. I know that the pit stops are going to be around that 7-second marker, but I don't know what the transit time is.
Just take a look at those last laps there. Dylan Shepherd at 2:03.73, Sam Muir at 2:03.77, Matthew Dench at 2:03.51, and then Aaron Cooper behind them's doing a 2:03.46.
So Aaron Cooper's on a charge here at the moment. These guys are actually all of a sudden holding one another up. Keep an eye on Cooper. He's only 3 seconds away.
If he brings down that gap and actually joins the fight to the end, this will be crazy.
Don't rule it out. Don't rule Aaron Cooper out. He's always been, if he's not in that leading pack, but he's chasing his tail and he's making good fight of it, he can often be a quiet achiever. He can often sneak up on these guys. I don't know if it's 3 seconds good, and I don't think there's enough time left in the race when he's only 0.3 of a second quicker per lap, or actually 1/10 of a second quicker than Dench. I don't think there's enough time left in it. But if someone doesn't hit their marker in the pit lane, the podium's there for the taking for Aaron Cooper.
Yeah. Cheeky. I love it.
How's the clutching? How's the clutching from M. Dench? Brilliant. And rightly so. Like, he can do it every day of the week and still make these blokes think that, they've got a chance in hell. Now, here they come. Well, they do. Shepherd and Muir into pit lane. Dench goes on another lap. Looking for the overcut. Yeah. We're not surprised. He's doing Dench things. Aaron Cooper into pit lane as well, so we'll keep an eye on that. Aaron Cooper to pit lane. Jeff Adams is in. Paul Wilson should be in too. The field, with the exception of Dench, cleansed to this point, and Dench going on once more. And that's the thing, the clinical way in which he goes about his business, the way in which he can continue to be as fast as them, but getting up to his old tricks as well.
Sam's jumped Dylan in the pits.
Sam Muir jumps Dylan Shepherd and does it with a 6.9 second fuel compared to Shepherd's 9.0. And all of a sudden, the deficit to Aaron Cooper to Shepherd has halved. It's 1.2 seconds. Because Cooper was only stationary for 7.25. All of a sudden, the battle for third is on. And Muir's just sat there and waited for Shepherd all night long. Muir has done what Dench normally does and let Shepherd do the heavy lifting and pull him along, and he's reaped the reward. 2 seconds. Wow.
Now the question will be, does Matt come out in front of Sam on the pit? He's got a 25-second gap. That's just, I think the transit time is 23. I think. Could be wrong on that one, but we'll see. Just curious if Matt leaves at 1 lap or 2. Oh, as Nick Wood shoots up on the inside here of Paul Wilson.
Can he hold it? No, the door slams shut in his face right in front of him. Firmly. So that's Nick Wood all over the back of Paul Wilson. And it's important to note, that is for class honours. That is for open split honours. These guys are racing to the checkered flag. Dench is in. Dench is on pit road, but we'll stick with this because Nick Wood is giving it to Paul Wilson, making him work hard for it tonight. The open split points leader against a guy that has had a very good week. Nick Wood, of course, took BMW to victory on Monday night in Orbic Australia GT4. Dench is coming off pit road. Dench has got them covered by the length of the straight almost. Have a look at that. Dench leads it by 2.5 seconds. It may as well be the length of the main straight. It's not. But it's a brilliant performance from him all the same.
Textbook again.
Another Dench masterclass at Suzuka. He leads by 2 seconds with 3 laps to go. Actually, hang on. No, I spoke too soon. I think it's going to be 4 laps. I think they're going to have to get to 20 here because the transit down pit lane wasn't terribly long. We've just gone to 34 minutes. Watch the clock when they get back to the line. I sense a bit of overtime coming. I sense a 20th lap. Oh, boy. Oh, Michael Schroeder. It's only because the pace is maintained. It's been maintained. The tyres have held up. The pace is still in that 202, 203s. Normally it drops off. And with that drop-off, you lose time on the clock. I think when we get back to the line this time by, keep an eye on Matt Dench. Keep an eye on where he's at, what he's doing. I think we're going to 20. So I said 19 at the start, 19, 20. I then settled on 19. I think we're now going to 20. Oh, Jared Knight's pulled up. Jared Knight's night is done. Jared Knight is out of business at the Suzuka circuit. That's a big blow. Shepard drops to 3rd. Aaron Cooper now 4th. Jeff Adams, Dane Snadden, Brett Barker. And Paul Wilson hanging on for dear life against Nick Wood here. Now 10 minutes to go at Suncorp. Melbourne leading Brisbane 26-22 now, but that game far from done. And that could have implications with regards to the minor premiership. Whatever the case, Melbourne and New Zealand will be 3rd and 4th across the post. Penrith and Brisbane will be 1st and 2nd. We wait and see in what order. But we wait and see in what order this race finishes as well. 2.3 the margin, Dench to Muir. Dench crossed the line with 4.5 minutes on the clock. We're going to overtime. This will go 20. 20 minutes. 20 laps it'll go.
Oh, Nick Wood's flashing.
Nick Wood to the outside. Paul Wood to the inside. Paul Wood defending still. So this is the only active battle on the racetrack right now. The line right honours, the class honours for the open split in the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup. Great racing on a Thursday night. Frustration for Jared Knight and Samuel Sproul. Grant Gill's parked up as well. We're down to 16. Robert Colbreth, the last of the runners. Robert McGrath's parked up in the last few laps too. So there's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, count them, 6 retirements tonight. And an even split of 3 and 3 from each server, I might add, each split open in the lead. And yeah, it's rather unfortunate that we've had such a high rate of attrition and we haven't had too much in the way of multi-car incidents or big wrecks. We've had just minor single vehicle crashes tonight. So there's been plenty unfold across the course of the 40 minutes. But one thing remains the same, and that is that Dench is a cut above. And with Samuel Sproul retiring, this is one hand on another Porsche championship for Matt Dench, with thanks to Blackout Electrical Solutions. But the fight for the open split is still on the line. Melbourne 26 leading Brisbane 22 at Suncorp. We're keeping our eyes across everything that's happening on a Thursday night here. It's a big Thursday night in the greater scheme of things.
So Aaron Cooper at the front there has now gone under 1 second with Matthew Dench with a 201.8.
Jesus. 201. A 202.6 was the benchmark prior to that. And he just comes out and smashes out a 201.8. He'll get to the line with half a minute on the clock and he'll take us to lap 20. Nick Wood still hovering over the back of Paul Wilson like a cheap suit, just lurking there, waiting for his moment, waiting for his opportunity. Now he goes to the inside. Wilson goes to the outside. Drag race down the main straight. Wilson back to the inside. And Wood to the outside. Wood to hang tough to the outside to 1. Wood going for it, going for it, going for it. Wood, have a look at this. It'll be the move of the night if he can pull it off. Nick Wood Wood's going to the lead of the open split. Right around the outside.
Oh no, he's coming back. Hold on.
Back down the inside, but Wood has got the job done. The move of the season right there in the Porsche Open Cup. And it goes in favour of Nick Wood. Right around the outside. What about that? And not a varnish coat of paint traded between them. Have a look at this. Oh, great control from Nick Wood. Wilson fought as hard as he possibly could, Daniel, but the damage was done. And Wood had all the momentum and consolidated beautifully. It took him 30 seconds to do so, but what a 30 seconds it was. White flag. Matt Dench comes to the main straight. White flag. 1 to go at Suzuka. Half a minute to go on the clock. Dench is on his way home. So he punched out a 2:01.8 last time around. This time around a bit more tame, a 2:03.4. Very much tame indeed. Melbourne extend their lead at Suncorp 30-22. Another goal kick coming up here to make it a 10-point ball game. And I think Melbourne are going to get home. So maybe I should have gone to Suncorp. Maybe I shouldn't have. I don't know. That being said, they're going to be 2 from 2 in games played at Suncorp against Brisbane teams or Queensland-based teams this year, because they've beaten Redcliffe there and now Brisbane as well. They had a shocker during Magic Round, but the less said about that, the better. That's a very nice performance from the Melbourne Storm. And what a final series we're in for. In the NRL. AFL finals, of course, starting next week. AFLW starts tomorrow. We're 8 weeks out from the XL Nationals, and I've just given the voice box a little bit of a workout there, thanks to Nick Wood and Paul Wilson. Matt Dench on his way home, leading by 4.5 seconds. Another clinical display from him. We've got Michael Schroeder and Joe Baldwin on screen there at the moment, and Joe, of course, running a very different livery this time around. We didn't get to mention this earlier, but he's not running. He's parted company with KFC. And he's now got a Bailey Ladders livery for his Porsche to work in just nicely with all the other Bailey Ladders liveries that he runs on any other given night that we see him on the track. Racing in amongst the team with Nick Fodiatis and Paul Wood, Gary Cousins and Adam Lavis and the like. So Joe Baldwin still very much part of the framework there, but now actually representing the team in the Porsche Cup as well. Matt Dench to the last 3 corners to the Casio Triangle the whole time. Oh no! He's the only mistake he's made all night, and we captured every second of it. Main straight, checkered flag. It's a slow down to the line for Matt Dench to clear.
Oh, Sam, you! Oh no!
Oh no, he's going to get it. He had to clear the slow down. I'm not sure if he did, and if he didn't, he won't win the race. That will become clear in a moment. Matt Dench across the line wins the race. Sam Muir, Dylan Shepard, Aaron Cooper, Jeff Adams, Dane Snadden and Brett Barker. Here is Michael Schroeder. Getting into the side of Joe Baldwin. Come on, boys. That's not how you do it. Matt's allowed Stephen Gallacher to get through and leapfrog both of them, and Tristan Koch has got past Schroeder as well. Matt Dench, we believe, has won. We're waiting to see if he managed to clear the penalty he incurred by running too deep at the final corner with iRacing, and if he didn't, then it'll be Sam Muir's night, which would just be an extraordinary turn of events, given that Muir didn't lead a lap.
Also to consider that Matt Dench, even with a slowdown, had enough of a gap to just go, I'm all right.
Exactly. Exactly. And that says a lot about the dominance of the bloke tonight, considering that he only led for him a little bit there, then got muscled out, elbowed out, then with the netcode situation, which caught us by surprise, as we said there earlier, then worked his way back, just sat there quietly, minded his own business, leapfrogged everyone in the lane, punched out the fastest lap of the race at 2:01.8, then stretched out to a 4-second advantage. The only mistake of the night at this very corner on the final lap. Of all the laps you're going to do it, the last one isn't the one you want. Locked it up, threw it across the weeds, cut the corner, and threw it across the AstroTurf rather, cut the corner. went across the line and only just edged out Sam Muir, who closed to within 0.8 of a second of him at the checkered flag. So it was touch and go as to whether he was going to be okay or not. But yeah, he just accelerated across the corner, and then there he realises he's got the slowdown and he's on the anchors and he's in first gear just limping down the hill. And there it is. So he cleared the slowdown and then crosses the line.
He was right there. Sam was right there.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, the last corner was a bit different, Dave. You're absolutely bloody right about that. No surprise there. It caught us all off guard. It wasn't the usual fanfare or lack thereof, rather. It wasn't the usual conclusion to a race that we're used to seeing from Matt Dench. Not the clean and meticulous sort of behaviour that he's known for. Fantastic racing. Dench, Muir, Shepherd, Cooper, Adams, Snadden, Barker. I was a little bit concerned about how this race would play out, but it's actually ended up being one of the better ones of the season. Can you believe it? And then Nick Wood, Paul Wilson, Adam Laver, Stephen Gallacher, Joe Baldwin, Tristan Koch, Michael Schroeder, Philip Clark, and Robert Colbreth made up the finishing order. The bottom 9 there were all open split entries. The top 7 were all elite split entries in the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup. Great stuff. Sam Muir standing on by, and Sam, you might be able to tell us, bridesmaid all night. I mean, fair income. You couldn't take a trick. You followed Shepherd and Dench through there in the early stages. Then Dench gets by Shepherd. We see that Netcode, we thought it was dead set car-to-car contact at the time, but it's been ruled Netcode. Shepherd edges out Dench. All of a sudden, you get to sit there second for a few laps. Then everybody goes through the pit sequence and cycle, and you pip Shepherd, and you're still running second, but this time to Matty Dench. So you were in the Dench and Muir sandwich, the Dench and Shepherd sandwich all night long, and somehow you've still come up second.
Yeah. No, I had the best seat in the house there for most of the race, with Denchy and Shepherd just going toe-to-toe. Just wanted to sit back and see how it was going to all unfold, and then I knew Denchy would probably do what Denchy does and do a bit of fuel saving and come out 5 seconds in front of everyone, and then I don't know what happened at the end there, another 50 metres and I would have had him, but I suppose it would have been a bit cruel to win a race like that, because Denchy's just in a league of his own at this place.
Absolutely he is. It would have been cruel, but slowdowns are slowdowns, aren't they? He's lucky that he hasn't been slugged by one there. Obviously, we'll get the word from the man himself in just a moment as to how touch and go that was. But in saying all of that, mate, great performance from you, clean performance. I mean, as far as the championship's concerned, Aaron Cooper's got in there in 4th place, so that's put Jeff Adams behind by 2 positions to you. You had a 9-point buffer on him in the championship coming into this round, so all being fair and equal, that buffer becomes a little bit more comfortable, but by no means are you home in that fight for 3rd in the championship just yet.
No, definitely not. We're all just playing for second best, I think, at this stage. I'm not too sure what happened to the other Sam tonight, but I think he's well and truly got second wrapped up. So, if we can hold on to 3rd with a couple of rounds to go, then that'll be a good effort, I think.
Yeah, very nicely done. As far as the race is concerned, I'm gonna just reiterate rather, that even though you reckon you had the best seat in the house, I reckon Daniel and I did. Because nothing beats being in the broadcast booth. However, you would have had the best race seat in the house as far as those that were on the track was concerned. I will give you that. Talk me through it, mate. What was the plan of attack from your end? Because it was very clear that there was no... Oh, that was unfortunately what happened to Samuel Sproul. We'll get to that in a moment. But that was... It looked like from our end that no one really wanted to pack too much of a punch there. Denchy changed the game on, I think it was lap 5, and then obviously the incident on lap 6, I think it might have been. But it looked like you were content to just sit in there and let those guys go at it.
Yeah, pretty much. I think around this place in this car, I think it's the front right, which takes a bit of a beating. So, just didn't want to push too hard too early, and then, wanted to just sort of sit back and save a bit of fuel for the end as well. yeah, with those guys just fuel saving as well, it sort of put the 0x bonus point up for grabs as well, and then I almost had that, but picked up a 1x with 2 laps to go, so that was a bit annoying, but yeah, that was pretty much the plan of attack, just sit back and then hopefully Shep and Denshi would kill each other, and then we'd just be able to stroll in for a victory, and it almost happened, but yeah, not to be.
Very nearly indeed there, mate. Stay with me. I'm coming back to you in a moment. Denshi, how close was it as far as the the invoice that you had to pay there on the final quarter was, please?
It was about a 2-second slowdown, but we had enough gap to just let it clear and cross the line. So
I was going to say, I wasn't sure how long it was, but I saw you hit the anchors to make sure you cleared it before the checkered flag, mate. By the looks of it, you just caught a little bit of grass coming into the corner, did you?
no, I usually go a little bit further to the right when I'm braking there, and I just went a little bit too much to the left, and I had to turn to the right a bit, and it just locked that front inside right, so yeah, we couldn't stop the car.
Yeah, no, it's just from that second angle, it might have been a little bit deceptive. It just looked as though the wheel might have just been kissing the grass, that was all. So, in saying all of that though, mate, I'm going to get back to Sam in just a moment. We'll bring Jeff and Dylan into the conversation as well. But clinical performance from you. Were you as surprised as we were with the net code with Dylan Shepherd when the elbows were out? I mean, credit where credit's due. He fought hard to try to hold his spot there.
From my spot, there was no net code. I turned down and touched the back of his car and just made him go straight. So yeah, it just kind of ran me off. But yeah, it wasn't his fault, so it's game on.
Game on. Well, fair game. Yeah, there it is. There it was showing his net code on our screen just now. It looked like your rear end and his your front end and his rear end were interlocked. But in saying all of that, mate, what a great race. Pushed every step of the way until that pit lane transit. That seemed to be once again the determining factor here, the deciding moment or the defining moment rather, where you once again flexed your muscle and came out with 4 seconds to the good, and probably a good thing that it was, all things considered.
Yeah, with this track, I don't really like fuel saving around here. So when Dylan got ahead there and he started fuel saving, I'd start trying to send it by, and yeah, it just got a little bit messy. And yeah, so we just went back to fuel saving and put the fast laps in after the pit stop.
I actually said when you made the move on lap 5, I reckon I said to Daniel in the broadcast, I reckon Denshi's done his numbers here. He's done his homework. He realises that there's no merit in fuel saving, and he wants to have at it and get going. So I was right on that front. First time for everything. Mark that in the diary, ladies and gentlemen. But then obviously there was clearly a plan of attack to keep it as clean as you possibly could. Once you clawed back onto the tail of the train there, mate. And it was a very nice performance from you. In saying all that, yeah, I'll echo the comment coming in on YouTube there that it's sad to see Jared Knight do so well only to end up DNFing. But as far as you're concerned, Denshi, the defining moment tonight was the unlucky run for Samuel Sproul. That does give you a little bit of a leg up in this championship fight.
Yeah, I saw a big gap open up behind us there. I didn't really catch what happened, but I'm sure I'll see it when I watch the broadcast back.
All right, yeah, very nicely done. Tyre wear around here, it didn't look like it was playing too much of a factor, considering that you punched out the fastest number of the night by a long shot, about 3 laps from home.
Yeah, so like my plan was just to push on the whole race, and yeah, tyres would have been a bit of an issue towards the end, but yeah, we just sort of saved behind Dylan there, and yeah, we kept the tyres nice and fresh for after that pit stop for a nice quick lap.
So in other words, you've just come in here to say thanks for helping me out, boys.
Yeah.
Denshi, title number 7 is within reach now. Same 2 in the GT3. So that would take the total to 14 across the 2 GT3 formulas. But we've got 2 big stops to come. Phillip Island was good on Monday night. We saw that in GT3. It's going to be a completely different playing field in Porsches when it's all one make and everyone's in the same equipment. And then next week, Spa-Francorchamps, Belgium, and 60 minutes around there to get through first.
Yeah, Spa should be pretty spicy race around there. A lot of drafts, so it'll be hard to pull a gap. So yeah, hopefully we can keep it nice and clean and have some good battles.
I guess the only exception to the rule, when that incident at Turn 1 took place, it gave Aaron Cooper and also Jared Knight a bit of a sniff to get back into the fight, but it didn't take long for you to lose them again.
Yeah, I was watching Aaron come up to me there. It looked like he half wanted to try and send it by, but I think he thought better of it. So.
Very nicely done. Stay with me, mate. Coming back to you in a moment. Let's bounce across you. Let's go to Jeff Adams and Dylan Shepherd. Let's go to Dylan Shepherd first. Dylan, well done, mate. Solid performance. Very entertaining. 40 minutes at the office there. Unlucky, though, because the heavy lifting comes with the price, and the price was a couple of extra seconds at the fuel bowser, and that was enough for Sam Muir to be able to pit you in the end.
Yeah, no, exactly right. I'm not the biggest fan of the fuel saves, but I tried to do a little bit at the start, see if I could just do something with it. Yeah, and then in pit stop, I was trying to get my right clutch part point for the drop. Saw Sam take off, and I was like, oh, I can go now. Just let him walk past me. So, yeah, look, it was an entertaining race. It was good fun. Good to get up there and give Denchi a bit of a fight. But, yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to come on top in a fuel save race. Well, especially when Denchi's got the pace he does, because when you've got that pace, you can just control it. So, yeah, no, it is what it is, but we'll keep pushing.
It must be frustrating that he's got that pace while he's fuel saving, and the rest of you blokes are trying your absolute heart out to just pull out qualifying numbers lap on lap and keep the competition at bay, and Denchi's making it look easy somewhat.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's talented at what he does. Like, he's got so much pace, and then, you know, he's obviously learned how to fuel save. And I mean, I believe I'm pretty good at the fuel save against people around me, but they're going against that kind of pace. There's just not much you can do. You know, I probably prefer to see just a hard-out race. Might not be so entertaining because he could probably just drive off, but for the rest of the field, I think it'd be good for us to just all have a fight, because the first 10 laps of this format, we're all just sitting in a queue. Like, it's just the same every week for us.
Well, that's very true, mate. That's a good way of looking at it. Your take on the incident at turn one? I mean, it was clear that you didn't want to give up the lead too easy.
Yeah, I mean, he got past me. No, awesome move. And then I jumped behind him, and I was like, you know, I wonder if he's going to fuel save or if he's going to drive away. Couldn't really tell. And then he made a little mistake, caught the grass next to that fast left-hander, and gave me a bit of a sniff. And I thought, well, it's now or never. I'm never going to get this opportunity again. So may as well have a go. I sent it in. I thought I was holding it quite tight. I held it tight on the exit, and then, yeah, like looking back at the replay, it did look like he did turn in a little bit, but I think it's just a racing incident. Like, I don't think it's anything I've done wrong. I don't think he really did anything wrong. I think if there was no internet involved, we probably would have just rubbed wheels and pushed on. But I think there might have been a little bit of net because our wheels interlocked, so I had like full steering lock, and I was just driving straight, and I was like, oh, this isn't good. But luckily, we both survived, and I looked at my relative, saw that he was still, within a second and a half. I was like, oh, he'll be back. Don't worry about it.
We had a quick apology there from Nick Wood that he won't be joining the post-race show because his little one's come down crook. Family first, mate, always. But congratulations on the overtake of the season on Paul Wilson to get the win in the open split tonight. We'll chat to you about that on Monday when we reconvene for GT4. Thanks, buddy, and go well. And hopefully the little one's all right in due course as well. Whilst we've got you, Dylan, disappointing night for the other member of the Blackout Electrical Solutions stable. That was a tough blow for Samuel Sproul. A mistake early in the piece, and then left with nowhere to go right at that very point of the circuit, just coming out of the spoon curve.
Yeah, exactly right. Sammy's gutted with it. He's trying hard to fight to keep his championship hopes alive, do what he can to fight Denchi. But yeah, he was talking about being a bit worried at the start of the night that he didn't really have the pace here. But so yeah, I think he was just trying to hold on, just pushed that a little bit too hard, and yeah, paid the price, unfortunately.
Indeed, here it is again for everybody at home to see. This is probably a championship-defining moment in many respects. Here it was, unfortunately, the car in front of him got taily and looked as though it was going left, and then just snapped back straight hard right into the path of Sproul. And as you saw it from the onboard, a rough old ride from there, a rough and tumble into the wall, and a car left in pieces across the Suzuka circuit. We're probably lucky that it's a sim world in that respect. There it is, bang. Oh. How good's the damage model on these cars now, just quietly? I know that's a horrible thing to say to Samuel Sproul at this point, but credit to iRacing because they've really improved the game on that one. Had that been a real world situation, that would have been a yellow flag, and thankfully for us it wasn't, because we know how bloody terribly slow the safety car is around on this circuit. What's left for the next 2 weeks for Blackout, Dylan? Are the stable committed to Spa and Phillip Island and trying to finish this as best and as strongly as they can?
Yeah, for sure. I think Sammy will definitely be putting up a fight, trying his hardest. I'll probably make Spa, but yeah, once again, real life commitments will take me out for the last round with Sandown Crow Cup on. So
right.
Yeah, it'll be all up for Sammy, I think.
And the racing in the Porsches this year, mate, has been red hot. Of course, it was only was it 2 weeks ago you were at the Bend?
Yeah, 2-3 weeks. Yeah, can't track. Yeah, I went 5 weeks. I went 5 weeks of straight racing. That's why I missed so many rounds. So I can't even keep up where I am anymore.
Yeah, that's true, because obviously the second tier was at QR the week before that, and there was a round in Sydney. Yeah, we understand, mate. But just update us on the real world. Are you guys happy with where things are getting into the business end, the back end of the season here?
Yeah, look, we've had a really trying start of the season, reshelling a car and then doing a front tub on that same car 2 rounds later. So it was a trying start of the season, but tail and bend things turned around. You know, we had Mazuris clicked and got on pace pretty quick, and then Fallon ended up getting a round podium in second position. So a bit of a reward for the hard work. So a lot of success last year at Sandown too, 1-2 for the round. So hopefully we can bring some of that again.
I would love nothing more than to say to you, I'll see you on the Gold Coast and I'll come and watch the racing there. But I'm actually going to be on the other side of the country watching and commentating the Under XL Nationals. So my diary is booked for that weekend. But we wish you well with what's to come, because obviously there's Sandown in a couple of weeks, and then Bathurst as well, and then obviously the Gold Coast and everything on from there on to Adelaide too. So you guys are going to be very busy in the back end of the season, especially with all the concrete canyons you're dealing with. And well done on your performance tonight as well, mate. A nice return to the sim rig and third place, a podium finish in a race that was hotly contested. Well done.
Thanks, mate. Surely I'm going to have to catch you at one of these rounds one day. Yeah, thanks. It was good to be back and great fun as always.
There he is, Dylan Shepherd. Yeah, we will absolutely catch up somewhere, sometime along the line, mate. Just once the commitments line up and we're in the same place at the same time, we'll definitely make it happen. Good on you. Jeff Adams, to you. Well done on P5, up 3 spots on where you started. Not without a couple of hairy moments along the way, but all in all, a good night at the office, a top 5 finish.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, it has been a good night. I'm just trying to minimise Sam Ewer's damage, just trying to get as close as I can to try and stay close to third place in the championship. But yeah, no, I had a good race with Dane Snadden there. It was a good run. Managed to undercut him there with the fuel. Just by sitting behind him for a while, I think I just managed to save a little bit more fuel than him. And then also, I think he was pushing his tyres a little bit harder than I was. So as you get the chance when you sit behind someone like that. So yeah, I had a good night.
It's always hard as well, mate, isn't it? When you look at what's going on down the line, it's always hard when you've got people like Aaron Cooper and Jared Knight in the equation as well, hard to go with those guys at the pointy end of town, knowing that the championship's there for the taking and the podium position within that fight as well, the overall scheme of things. You just weren't able to go with them tonight, but the next 2 weeks are a totally different beast, aren't they? Anything could happen.
Yeah, look, these guys are above what I am, and I know that. And so by just turning up each week when those boys can't turn up, and hopefully not to bad wishes on anyone, but if they have an accident up ahead, I'll take the opportunity to take some points away from them. But I think that's about the only anything I can do is just keep turning up and keep going over the line and getting points.
Absolutely. Hey, while we've got you, I mean, as you say, Dane Snadden, you had a good fight with him. Seas parted in many respects, because Jared Knight and Samuel Sproul would normally be in the mix as well. So when you look at that, 5th is a win for you tonight. I mean, yep, sure, you're 11 seconds down the road from Aaron Cooper in the top 4, but to keep Snadden and Barker at bay, keep your nose clean, and at least tick the box of finishing the thing and pocketing the points, you can't ask for much more than that.
Yeah, these cars are pretty hard to keep on the black stuff. Well, with me anyway, I find them hard to keep them straight. But just had a good little chase there at the end there with Dane, and just hopefully for the rest of the season I can keep it straight.
All right, mate. Hey, Spa and Phillip Island. I mean, the Super Sprint format at Phillip Island, the 3 races, but then before that, a Spa for 60. Which circuit do you prefer? Which format's going to suit you best?
Oh, the Spa one will probably suit me a little bit better, but those Super Sprints, they're always a menacing round. And at Phillip Island, there's plenty of opportunities for things to go awry. So less chance maybe at Spa, but who knows? They're both bloody good rounds, so we'll see how we go there.
All right, very nicely done. Hey, thanks for stopping on by tonight, mate. We appreciate it. Good luck with the rest of the season and the 2 weeks to come.
Thanks a lot. Thanks everybody. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Joe Baldwin is the only representative of the open split here. We'll get to you and then we'll get back to Denchi and Sam Muir to wrap things up. Well done. 5th place, up 7 spots on where you started. Not as much attrition there. I mean, Grant Gill bit the dust, so too Robert McGrath and Brett Bradbury. But in the grand scheme of things, there was only one real incident for you, and it was late in the piece, and it was with Michael Schroeder. Apart from that, a clean run.
Yeah, it was. Michael, he's reached out and apologised for what happened. I probably had a little part to play. I should have covered earlier. I knew it was coming. The lap earlier, the right-hand kink just before you go underneath the overpass, so I actually ran wide and whacked the wall. So my steering was a little bit out of whack, and I didn't get over the left-hand cover. He got to the grass, and yeah, he couldn't be more apologetic. You know, hey, we've all been there, we've all done it, and I mean, I was a little dirty at the time because I'm in a battle with Steve Gallagher for 3rd in the championship, and I was 2 spots ahead of him, and that put me 1 behind him, but I still should have enough points in the bag, and Michael and I are good. It's just one of those things that happens in racing. But hey, I did the same thing. I still qualify like a turkey and fly like an eagle in the class at the start. I think I picked up about 6 spots off the start again, so I'm good at the start. If only I could do that in qualifying, I guess.
You do race well, there's no doubt about that. Just got to work on that 1 lap pace.
Yeah.
Saying all of that, apart from that incident, it looked as though, and obviously the move for the win from Nick Wood on Paul Wilson, it looked like things were relatively clean and maybe even a little bit processional in the open split tonight.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen it. I've heard about it. I've heard the pass. It's a thing of legend. I've had 3 people tell me about it already, but I haven't seen it. But this is a really big, fast track, and I'm sure all the guys said the same thing. You know, it's for me tonight here. This track, it was just staying out of trouble, and a couple of the guys fell off early, and it's. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those circuits. I'm not real good here in anything unless it's got heaps of downforce, but I'm happy with the result, you know. And a lot of the guys in the championship there in our groups up the front, I think Wilson's got it pretty much sewn up from here. I doubt whether or not even if he missed the next couple of weeks we'd catch him, but this one was down at turn 1 by the look of it. Kept him narrow. Wow. Nice move. No, that's unreal. Yeah, he came up behind me earlier in the race, and I just let him go. That's it's still going. What the?
It went on for about half a minute, Joe. It was fantastic.
That's fantastic racing. Yeah, and that's the sort of stuff we want to see. I hope you guys were watching that live at the time because you can't.
We were. So just when you do watch it back, maybe turn the volume down as we start. We may or may not have just gone over to the old, as Billy Birmingham would call it, threshold of pain.
So you did your best Daryl Eastlake in that one, I'm sure.
Exactly right, yes.
That's anybody who's watching who's not a part of the club, this is the sort of racing that you're going to get involved with somewhere along the line. You don't have to be running up the front with the alien guys. You can have battles like this for 14th and 15th. And it's always good when you find someone you can race against. Schroeder, Gallacher and myself, we had a great battle the whole race. Just a little unlucky on that last lap, but I've come away with a smile on my face. It's been good.
Indeed. I know. Well done, mate. You've done a superb job. I've got a little bit more breaking news for you as well, ladies and gentlemen, on the back of the announcement the other night that I'm going over to Joe's neck of the woods for the XL Nationals in October. 2 weeks before that, I'll be at Sydney Motorsport Park for the final round of Series X3 New South Wales as well. So that's only been confirmed tonight. So looking forward to that immensely. And that's only been broken in the last couple of minutes. So before it goes on social media, it will be
with open arms everywhere you go.
Absolutely. Everywhere except Queensland, and that's okay with me because it gives me added incentive to leave the stupid bloody joint. Anyway, Joe, what's next for you, please? Mountain Men this weekend?
Mountain Men this weekend is the Audi GT, the Alphabet Audi full drive monster, the old IMSA car. It's a bit of a weapon around the mountain. So that's on this Saturday night. Same deal. It's open to anyone on iRacing to come in and behave themselves. Unfortunately, we had a couple of ring-ins last week we'd never seen before, and they lasted about 3 minutes in the server and got shown the door. So it's there's still championship points on the line, but everybody's welcome to come along and have a bit of fun. And that car on the mountain, I think, should get some good numbers. It's a great combo.
Indeed. All right, mate. Hey, very nicely done. Look forward to seeing you Monday night.
Done deal. I'll see you there. Thanks, guys.
There he is, Joe Baldwin. Quickly to finish with Matt Dench and Sam Muir, and I wanted to keep these guys around only because, well, at the end of the day, we've only been on air for 2.5 hours. It feels like a sprint night rather than a usual 3.5 hour marathon that we're used to. Our Thursday nights are getting shorter. I'm not sure whether I like that or not. But to go back to you, Sam Muir, the battle for the minor placings in the championship, mate. Actually, to be honest with you, I don't know when Adam Lavis is crunching the numbers tonight, but with Samuel Sproul's misfortune, that might actually help you in the greater scheme of things. But what works in his favour is he got a couple of drop round points up his sleeve. So at the end of the day, the next 2 weeks are vitally important for you, keeping your nose clean, hitting the mark, just ticking the boxes. Second might not be out of the question just yet.
With everything that we've got to see if we can get best of the rest in this championship. But full credit to Sammy Sproul. He's had a fantastic season. I think he's been on the podium for just about every round. So he was probably due to have a bad one. And as for me, I've used up both my drop rounds. So as you said, I'll have to make sure I do keep it pretty clean for the last two if we do want to have a shot at getting P2.
Yeah, and Jeff Adams has still got drop round points there at his disposal as well, so that might end up helping him in the long run. I wish I'd actually looked at that before I let him out of the booth tonight. But anyway, saying all of that, mate, Spa and Phillip Island are the two venues. They're the two playgrounds for the next 2 weeks. A great long track at Spa, a challenging track, and then obviously Phillip Island. Well, we all know how much that's universally loved across the server.
Definitely, like everyone else, a big fan of Phillip Island, so can't wait for that. But who is it who's chairman of the Anti-Spa Club? Is it Nick Fodiatis? I think
No, that's the Anti-Sebring Club.
Oh, Anti-Sebring.
Well,
I'll be Anti-Spa Club then.
There you go.
Not a big fan of it, so.
Oh no.
We'll just see what we can do. Keep it clean, as Denchy said though. It can be hard for guys, even if they do have a bit of extra pace with the draft. Sort of keeps us within touching distance, and if anything does go wrong, then we'll have to make sure that we're close enough to take full advantage.
Indeed. Also, we're getting to that point of the season where iRacing drops some updates on us and tweaks the cars and gets everybody on their toes. Back to the drawing board in some respects. Are you worried about what might happen to the Porsche, how they might tinker with it?
Yeah, they haven't been too shy in tinkering with the Porsche every now and then. So yeah, we'll wait and see. Always seems to happen just when you think that you've sort of mastered or getting close to mastering the latest tweak or update that they do, then they go and change the bloody thing again. So, yeah, we'll wait and see what comes out week 13 and week 1, and then yeah, whether it's going to be back to the drawing board or hopefully it'll stay the same and we can continue to edge ever closer to Denchi.
Jeff, sorry, I'm going through two different bloody things at the moment. I'm talking XLs on a social thread on Facebook, and I'm talking obviously to you blokes and Porsches. Actually, I did mention Jeff's name, Jeff Neve. If you're tuning in at the moment, we send you our very best, because some of you would have seen it on social media the other day. Series X3 New South Wales, which I'm going around to commentate the final round for in a couple of months' time, 6 weeks in fact. They had an enormous shunt there at Sydney Motorsport Park the other day. It was Jeff Neve's car that got absolutely totaled. It barrel rolled on 600 occasions before it came to a stop. Jeff walked away with a couple of bruises and, you know, a couple of marks and a couple of battle wounds in terms of he's feeling a little bit sore and sorry. And a couple of marks on the old skin, but remarkably, no broken bones, no punctured lungs, no anything untoward. He's going to walk away completely okay and make a full recovery, which is just extraordinary considering when you have a look at the photos and you have a look at the footage, just what happened to that race car at Turn 1 at Sydney Motorsport Park. So we send Jeff our very, very best. I was going to say this, that I was talking to Jeff Adams a few moments ago. I'm talking about a Jeff Neve now. So let's get out of the Jeff circle for a minute. Let's go back to Matt Dench. Denchy, how do you feel about the upcoming patch updates and everything that's about to drop and everything that's about to get tweaked and tuned?
I actually like when they mess with the cars and make them drive a bit different. They usually come up to speed pretty quick, so yeah, I quite like it.
Spa and Phillip Island, mates. I mean, who are you fearing most as far as your opposition is concerned? Because it was clear tonight that the elbows were out and they wanted to rough you up a little bit, but you had their measure in the end.
Yeah, I think Sandown's got quite good pace. At least over the last few weeks in that. Not sure why he was off the pace here tonight, but I think Sandown will be up there the next couple of weeks to get some good fight as well.
Very nicely done. And obviously with regards to the next few days, how much preparation time goes into Bathurst and the McLaren, please?
Yeah, I know. I suppose I'll have to chuck a few laps over the weekend and try and get a bit of a setup. I think Team PGZ have got a set for McLaren this time around, so we should be right.
All right, very nicely done. When you secure title number 7, if you secure title number 7, do you saddle up again and go around and try and complete the calendar year once more, the Grand Slam as they call it in tennis circles?
Yeah, well, I think for GT3 we're probably going to jump over to Ferrari for the next season.
Ooh.
Then we'll go to probably
Nice.
BMW or something.
And let's be honest. The BMW hasn't had a lot of love in the top server in GT3 Pro, and the Ferraris had overall love in the top server, but plenty of love in the middle server, in the bottom server, in the AM split. So watch this space. I'm already excited about that. Dench having a crack in the Prancing Horse. That's well worth bums on seats and price of admission in the next couple of weeks. Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. And looking forward to catching up with you on Monday night. And Sam Muir, thank you as well. We'll see you next Thursday night, mate. Actually, before that, we've got GT4 to get through on Monday night and the tantalising couple of last rounds of that championship too, mate. Are you nervous?
Yeah, a little bit. Certainly got a lot of competition in the GT4s on the Monday. It's been a fantastic championship. I don't know off the top of my head how many repeat winners that we've actually had. It seems like just about every single week we've got a different winner there. So yeah, been a really great championship, and I think we've got a little bit of a lead at the moment going into the last couple of rounds. So yeah, hopefully we can hold on.
All right, mate. Go well Monday night, and then of course go well here next Thursday night as well. Even though it's not exactly your favourite circuit in the world, you win some, you lose some. We've just got to go through the motions. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
Cheers, Zach.
I'm hoping I ticked all the boxes there. As you can imagine, there's a lot going on in this commentary box tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a busy week. Daniel Correa, some final thoughts from you, and maybe even a nomination or two for driver of the night.
Oh, look, it was. I enjoyed. I love the Suzuka race. I love the TCRs as well. There was some good stuff happening in both, but it's got to be Nick Wood, right? No, it's got to be Nick Wood for driver. That pass was fantastic. The way he set it up was fantastic. That's who I'd give it to. That was a great showing, and I'm privileged to have watched it.
All right, very nicely done. Thank you to you for your efforts throughout the course of the night. Appreciate that. We'll team up again next Thursday night and start to bring this thing home. August is done, ladies and gentlemen. So too winter. There's still 2 big weeks of Term 3 of 2023 on the platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club to come your way. We'll have a look at that in about 30 seconds' time. In the meantime, we cannot do this without the great support of the people scrolling across the top of your screen and now the bottom as well. Waste Options, Orbic Australia, Blackout Electrical Solutions, Login Systems, Astute Finance, Fisher & Door Lawyers, and Flash Graphics. We couldn't do it without any of them. Their support is integral and vitally important to the ongoing operations of the club. So we appreciate them staying on board and showing their support to the sim racing broadcast community. Let's continue on and have a look at what's coming your way as far as, well, the rest of Week 8 and the start of Week 9 is concerned on the platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. And tomorrow night, Formula 3s from Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. The order of the day there is sprint racing, and that will be a full reverse grid race for race 2. That'll be well worth the price of admission from Motorsport. The Audi 90 GTO on Saturday night for the Mountain Men. And on Monday night, we take you to Suzuka again. So we've had Victoria twice this week. We've got Phillip Island again in 2 weeks' time. We've got Mount Panorama making a couple of appearances over the next couple of weeks, and we've got Suzuka again on Monday night. So a couple of double-ups here at the end of the term. Monday night Motorsport takes us to Asia and then to Australia. We start with Suzuka for Orbic Australia GT4, a 25-minute sprint there. That is live from 7:25 Eastern Standard Time. We continue on then to Mount Panorama Bathurst for a 60-minute race. Not a sprint race, a 60-minute race. We should point out for the GT3 Pro Series for Waste Options. And next week I'll read this before it goes on air, Daniel. That way I'm not trying to correct you as we go. Mount Panorama, 8:30 Eastern. Make sure you join us for that 60 minutes, and we will be bringing you the Pro Split on that occasion, as we will in Week 10. Tuesday night, the Toyota Rd-8s, the venue TBA. Starts on 7:55 non-broadcast. Wednesday night non-broadcast, Interlagos for Formula Ford and Twin Ring Motegi East for the supercars. Thursday night broadcast. Toyota Rd-8s from Interlagos. How good will that be? 7:30 Eastern. Looking forward to that. Be here or be square. And then on to the circuit to Spa-Francorchamps for 60 minutes, in fact, for the second last round, the penultimate round, the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup. So looking forward to that immensely. A big night there, and we're very excited to be bringing all that to you. On behalf of the entire GSRC broadcast commentary and production team here at the end of Week 8 of Term 3, hope you've enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. Matty Dench, too good in the Porsche Elite Cup. Nick Wood, too good in the Porsche Open Cup with the move of the season as well. Earlier, of course, in the production cars in TCR at Sandown, we had Brendan Whitaker and Adam Lavis pocketing wins. Don't forget, if you want some merch, there's the link. GSRC.merch.myshopify.com or merch.tgsrci.com. The race.tg, so the website itself for everything else. So the merch website is there at the top of your screen. But swap merch for race. Race.tgsrci.com for everything else happening in GSRC circles. Just repeating, Thursday night football the way of Melbourne over Brisbane. Brisbane now staring down second if Penrith beat North Queensland in the minor premiership race in the NRL. Melbourne getting the job done and doing so quite comfortably in the end. 32 points to 22. Big weekend coming up. The Basketball World Cup continues. The US Open as well. Formula 1, MotoGP, IndyCar and NASCAR all taking to the circuit. A lot to be excited about on the opening weekend of September. The footy finals aren't too far away. AFLW starting up this weekend as well. It's a good time to be a sports fan. And, of course, this time next week, rugby fans will be rejoicing as we'll be on the eve of the start of the World Cup for 2023. It's a big year of sport. It continues right through till the summer of cricket gets underway. And, of course, on that note, the Aussies in action Saturday morning against South Africa as well in the second T20 after winning the first quite comfortably last night. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage. Thursday Night Motorsport on the platforms for GSRC across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. It was a beauty, wasn't it? We look forward to doing it all again for the final 2 weeks of the term, starting Monday night, 7:30 Eastern, with GT4 from Suzuka and GT3 from Bathurst from Mount Panorama. Until then, on behalf of the entire GSRC broadcast commentary and production team here, I'm Zach Caban, wishing you a very good night.